The Progress Tour presents the Novellus Easter Bowl. It's showtime.
Easter Bowl here live from the Cardiff Met Tennis Centre on Kincard campus in the heart of the Welsh capital. We're hosted by Cardiff Metropolitan University in these few days, and what a cracker of a few days it's been so far. We've had a Dingles competition yesterday, the first ever live stream Dingles event by the Progress Tour. It was incredible, but live action continues today, and it's the final day of group stage action. Now, let's take a look at the group standings because they have been battling hard to put themselves in a good position going in to today. Now, first of all, the Novellus group standings. It's Finn Bass who tops the rankings. He tops that group too. He's won 2 out of 2 matches so far. He's looking very, very good going into today. Alexis Cantor just behind him. He took a tough loss against Bass yesterday, so he sits in second. And then coming up in third place, Swain. And bottoming the group, Marshall 2-2. So still work to do for those two today, but still a very competitive group, and it's all to play for. And then if we move on to the Hotel Planner group, it's Ewan Lumsden, the Scot, who tops that group. 2 wins from 2, 4 sets from 4. He's in fine form this week. Following him in second place, it's Ryan Story. He put in a very, very good performance yesterday. Then it's David Quail in third place. He's 1 win out of 2. And then it's Michael Shaw in fourth place, who's been struggling with a little injury so far this week, but he'll be looking to get his first win on the board today. Now, today there is only 2 matches on our live stream, so 2 matches on show court due to some court scheduling, but it's still a lot to be excited about, and do stay with us throughout the morning and early afternoon to stay with us. Let's have a quick look at those 2 matches because it's going to be extremely exciting. First up, in about 5 minutes time or so, we'll get to speak to the players just before they head on court, but it's David Quail going up against Ewan Lumsden. It's their final group stage match. That's a highly anticipated match, so all to play for still in the Hotel Planner group. And then coming up at around 12 p.m, it's Swain up against Alexis Cantor, who was crowned Dingles champion last night with the man who's just walked behind me, Ryan Story. So there we go. Those are the 2 matches that we've got to look forward to today. Let's take a quick look at our first 2 players coming up, David Quail and Ewan Lumsden. I spoke to them a couple of days ago.
3 words to describe yourself.
Passionate, driven and competitive.
First gig you went to?
I think Juice World in America.
Eat 1 meal for your rest of the night.
It's pizza.
Favorite podcast?
Nothing major.
A film that makes you laugh.
Elf, Christmas movie.
What player was your idol?
David Ferrer.
Which music artist is your favorite right now?
Let's see. Chainsmokers.
Oh, lovely. Favorite thing about being a tennis player?
Traveling to nice places and meeting new people.
First tennis memory?
Playing Duck Duck Goose in my local David Lloyd.
What are 3 words to describe yourself?
Probably happy, competitive, and a little funny, I guess, but...
And what is the first gig you went to?
First gig? G-Eazy when I was about 15, 16 years old.
And if you could eat 1 meal for the rest of life, what would you eat?
Pizza.
And what's your go-to series to watch on a flight?
Oh, Prison Break at the moment, loving it. Watching it for the second time.
What's your favourite
Podcast? Diary of a CEO.
What's a film that makes you laugh?
Laugh? Happy Gilmore.
What player was your idol?
Rafa, yeah.
Which music artist is your favourite right now?
Right now, I'm listening to a lot of Jeff Buckley. It's a bit out there, but yeah.
Favourite thing about being a tennis player?
Travel. Yeah.
First tennis memory?
First tennis memory was going down to the local tennis club with my family and playing on the fake clay. Yeah, I love that.
There we go. That's a little preview of our first match of the day. But now delighted to be joined by Ian Davies. Am I got that correct?
That's right, yeah, you got that absolutely spot on.
Ian, you're commercial director of Sport Tape. Sport Tape have been helping out the event this week with some goods for the players and also helping with the recovery rehab sort of centre. Is that right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. We're really proud and honoured, really, to work with this amazing therapy team that the Progress Tour has got working with them, just to help out the players, help out the therapists, and hopefully allow the players to perform at their best, recover quickly. If they've got another game tomorrow, come back even stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. I know they've been absolutely loving it. As soon as they've been finishing their matches, they've been going straight into the change rooms to get their rehab, get them taped up. But tell us a little bit more about the specifics around this tape that you have at Sport Tape.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, when it comes to Sport Tape, there's so many different varieties of tape that are available to you, right? So we have a huge range, and each one of them is kind of designed for its own very specific purpose. But without the right hands, that tape means absolutely nothing, right? We could have the best tape in the world, but if it's not being applied in the right way or it's not being used by the right people, it means absolutely nothing. That's where this amazing therapy team really comes into their own, because they can get the most out of the tape. Now, we've got tapes for all sorts of different uses. In tennis, it's going to be everything from strapping ankles and keeping them supported on the court to wrists and making sure that those wrists are protected, into things like the kinesiology tape to help that muscle recovery day on day. If there's one thing we're really passionate about at Sport Tape, it's about helping the athlete perform at their best, no matter what level that is, and recover faster and stay doing the sport that they love. Like, all of us here at Sport Tape are athletes ourselves, and we've all been through it, and we all know the pain of not being able to do the sport that you love, not being on the court, not being on the pitch. So that's what really drives us at Sport Tape. We've got this big goal to support 1 million athletes a week, and we've set this big target for us to kind of work towards, and we're getting there. You know, we work with therapists and athletes all over the world. We have distributors in 15 different countries now and counting, and we just want to get to a position where every athlete has the opportunity to use tape to benefit their performance and their recovery if they can.
Wow, it's amazing. I mean, you're doing so many great things, and you also got a bit of a following on social media too, and you're going to be here creating some clips around, so we should watch along on social media, shouldn't we, today? All the viewers, get on Instagram as well as YouTube.
Absolutely, yeah. Check us out on YouTube, check us out on Instagram. Our biggest following at the moment is on our TikTok channel, where we've got some incredible videos around how to tape, teaching you to get the most from your tape, a little bit of behind the scenes, a little bit of our personality as the brand, getting to know us as the people behind the brand. We've got an amazing social media team. We've got an incredible team of videographers and graphic designers that are working for us as well. And it's all based out of our little warehouse just down the road in South Wales in Bedwas. And we do everything from there. So yeah, please go and check us out across our social media channels. Just search for @SportTape and you'll find us. And anything that anybody needs in terms of whether it's the right tape, questions about how to get the most from their tape, we're here to help.
There we go. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the day. We'll keep an eye out for those social media clips. But we are going to head back to some preview action, because we spoke to the people who are going to be on the first match on the show court, and it's Ewan Lumsden and David Quail in some quick fire questions.
3 words to describe yourself.
Passionate, driven, and competitive.
First gig you went to.
I think Juice World in America.
Eat one meal for your rest of the night.
It's pizza.
Favorite podcast?
Nothing major.
A film that makes you laugh.
Elf, Christmas movie.
What player was your idol?
David Ferrer.
Which music artist is your favorite right now?
Let's see. Chainsmokers.
Oh, lovely. Favorite thing about being a tennis player?
Traveling to nice places and meeting new people.
First tennis memory?
Playing Duck Duck Goose in my local David Lloyd.
What are 3 words to describe yourself?
Probably happy, competitive, and a little funny, I guess. But
And what is the first gig you went to?
first gig, G-Easy when I was about 15, 16 years old.
And if you could eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would you eat?
Pizza.
And what's your go-to series to watch on a flight?
Oh, Prison Break at the moment. Loving it. Watching it for the second time.
What's your favourite podcast?
Podcast? Diary of a CEO.
What's a film that makes you laugh?
Laugh? Happy Gilmore.
What player was your idol?
Rafa. Yeah.
Which music artist is your favourite right now?
Right now, I'm listening to a lot of Jeff Buckley. It's a bit out there, but yeah.
Favourite thing about being a tennis player?
Travel? Yeah.
First tennis memory?
First tennis memory was going down to the local tennis club with my family and playing on the fake clay. Yeah, I love that.
Welcome back. Good to hear a few more words from our players who are first up on the show court today. Remember, there's 2 live stream matches, so stay with us throughout the rest of the morning and the early afternoon to see who decides the final semi-finals and finals that will take place tomorrow live here from Cardiff Met Tennis Centre. It's all to play for still. There's still very much live matches to come. So first up, it's Ewan Lumsden against David Quail. They are the Hotel Planner Group. David Quail needs a win here. But that's it from our build-up. I'm going to throw you up to Will Shepherd on commentary, who's going to be joined by Alex Lubinsky, of course, from the Top Tennis Training official channel. Over to you, Will.
To the Novellus Easter Bowl, day 3 of this tournament, and what a day we had yesterday. 3 mammoth matches, 3 epic contests between our players. We saw 4 different tie breaks through the day, and it was just an incredible day of tennis before we ended up with the Dingles event as well, and I do hope that you all stayed for that too. I know there were a lot of you following along on the stream. How exciting was that? We had 4 different teams playing the Dingles, where you get 1 point for winning a singles rally, 2 points for winning a doubles rally, everyone on the same court at the same time, and that ended up with the green team winning that and winning the prize pot at the end of it. Our attention now, though, shifts back to the main singles draw, and with our latest matchup in the Hotel Planner Group, we've got David Quail and Ewan Lumsden, both of whom we saw on this show court yesterday. 2 young men who will be going at it on court to see who can top the group ahead of tomorrow's semi-finals and finals. Ewan Lumsden holding the advantage in the ATP ranking and the UTR rating as well. 2 right-handed players once again, and they are just hitting some warm-up shots between them right now. Ewan Lumsden is wearing that yellow and white shirt that you saw him in the picture just now, whereas David Quail, he was in black on the picture, but he's in white, and once again he's got his white backward cap on. They are just minutes away from opening up their match against each other. So it is a best of 3 sets competition. The way these 2 played yesterday, the victories they got, I would not be surprised if we had more tie breaks today. Each match yesterday was allotted an hour and a half, but such was the closeness of the competition that we ended up overrunning in all of them, and actually overrun into our Dingles event, barely taking a breath before that came up. So do settle yourselves in and have a enjoyable day watching the next 2 matches that we are going to be bringing you. And this match here will be followed by the contest between Cantor and Swain. We saw Cantor on this show court yesterday. Swain, we didn't get a chance to see. He'd been on the show court the day before, and it is going to be another enjoyable day of tennis. We are, of course, in the tennis centre at Cardiff Met King Coyd campus, which is a state-of-the-art tennis venue, as befits the Progress Tour itself. Speaking of state-of-the-art, top level, we will have the insights of Alex Slabinski and Alex Hyman alongside me through the matches that we are bringing you. And alongside that, with the live chat function that we have on the YouTube stream on the Top Tennis channel, which you can subscribe and sign up for notifications on. You can also chat with us, send through your messages, send through your questions. You can show your support for the players on court. But you can also ask questions for the two Alexes to answer that might help your game, or they might relate to the play that you are seeing on court. You might be wondering about Lumsden's court positioning, for example. You might be wondering about the power behind Quail's serve, or why players are electing to play topspin compared to flat shots at different points in the match. Send all those questions through. And the two Alexes will give you their top level insight. We've already got some support on that chat for David Quail. Great to know that he's got fans watching. I'm sure there'll be many fans of Ewan Lumsden as well, who briefly joined us in the commentary box yesterday, as did David Quail then later on in the day. And I'm pleased to say that fresh from his courtside presenting duties, the multi-talented, ever dependable Alex Hyman has run up to our commentary box and is alongside me right now. Morning, Alex.
Good morning, William. How are we?
I'm fantastic, Alexander. I'm really looking forward to the two matches we've got ahead of us today. Slightly sad that we're not going to have any more dingles, because that was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed calling that with you and Alex yesterday.
Yeah, that was such good fun. No one really knew what to expect, whether you were a player, an umpire, a commentator, a cameraman. It was sorry, I should say camera operator. Yeah, it was crazy, but that's what we wanted it to be. We wanted it to be fresh, new, innovative. And yeah, it was such good fun. You can, remember, go and re-watch all of the action from that on the Top Tennis Training YouTube account. The full live stream is there for you to see with pre-match build-up. We had a few interviews with the players before. They were giving some chat to each other. Yeah, it was such good fun. And yeah, it was, trying to think who won in the end. It was the Luigi's Ryan
green
story.
Yes, well, I'm glad my Luigi nickname that's stuck in your mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, the green team won. I think with that they picked up a £500 hotel voucher, didn't they? So
they did indeed.
That would be nice for them to make the most of shortly. One question, with all the kind of mayhem going on with the Dingles that I didn't properly manage to get an answer out of you for, is what would your nickname have been if you were one of those Dingles players?
That is a good question. My personal nickname or the partnership? I think that would depend on who I'm with.
The individuals each had their own nickname, and then the teams were just named after colours, weren't they?
On the odd occasion of either Big Al or the Hymenator. Yeah, those are the two that come to mind.
Isn't Big Al the character from Toy Story 2 that owned the toy barn?
Yes, possibly.
You don't remind me of him. It'd be quite a different Big Al. The Hymenator, okay. Well, there we go.
Should we focus on the match?
Yeah. We are about to get underway. David Quail opening the serving in this first set. The first match of day 3.
Perfect tennis.
Real physicality from both players early on. But Quail managing to open up quite a bit of space on Lumsden's juice court side and firing through the winner.
That's the sort of play that, you know, he'd want to repeat that point after point. That is the ideal point for David Quail. Good first serve, nice forehand into the space, polished off with a volley. He's done it again. If that ball lands out, yeah. So his intentions from the off are clearly use that forehand, punish Lumsden into the backhand side,
and then try and polish off a volley if it needs to be hit. So that's really, really good start from David Quail.
In terms of these two players' styles of play, what aspect of Lumsden's game do you think Quail is going to look to exploit and to try and find an advantage against?
What aspect of Lumsden is he going to be trying to look
Quail,
into?
yeah.
Let me think about that.
Or
for the next
vice
point.
versa, if, if that's the easier first answer.
I think from Quail's point of view, like I was just saying, use his his game. He's gonna have to impose his game on Lumsden, because if you let Lumsden dictate the points, it's going to be so physical for both. And I think that's what Lumsden wants. He wants the longer rallies. He wants to use his physicality to win points. That's one of his biggest strengths. Whereas David Quail, he's got a really, really strong forehand. His backhand is actually probably the more solid of the two. He is known for his solid backhand exchange, his ability to make a lot of balls on that side, just as we can see in that exchange. Yeah, he's won that first backhand battle, which is going to be key. His confidence on that side is going to be really important. So yeah, I think for Quail, it's a matter of using his consistency on the backhand side to not make errors, using the forehand to dictate and put some more pressure on Lumsden, and just get into the net to finish off like he did in those first 2 points. Just like he's done in that first game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You said that first point was perfect tennis from him, and couldn't have asked for more. A game to love to open the match. It's really the ideal start. And Lumsden will be looking for his first winner, as he has his opening service game now.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how Lumsden comes out with his first service game.
Well,
not quite as neat a volley as Quail hit in his first service game.
No, and Lumsden will be disappointed with that. He definitely had the winner there. All he had to do was get it over the net. But
line ball, I think. Yeah, I think what has shone out so far in Lumsden's game is, and we spoke about it courtside with Alex Lubinsky yesterday on the coach's eye segment, just following his baseline movement, because he, like we said, his movement is one of his biggest strengths, and he is able to take the ball early so well. Oh. That would have been a pretty good shot, huh?
Bit of a cheeky smile from Quail. He's very happy with that one.
He also, I think, would have been happy if that had gone for a winner, because it would have been such a good shot that at least it was going to make the highlight reel somehow, even if it was going against him. But yeah, like I was saying for Lumsden, just his court positioning on the baseline. Have a look at that. Just keep an eye on how close he is to the baseline, how early he takes the ball. We were saying he's not a tall player, but he counteracts that with his ability to jump up on the ball and take it early and make sure it doesn't get too much above really shoulder height. He never really gets it, lets the ball get above that height for his ground strokes. I've got one for you, Sheps. Bandanas in tennis. Fan?
I'm going to come down on the side of yes. Yeah, I think you've got to be a certain player to pull one off. And I think, you know, maybe a bit of Latin flair helps. I don't think, for example, I would be able to pull off a bandana. But that said, you know, crossing over, I'll just let you take that point before I carry on.
Yeah, so I mean, that was a prime example of David Quail's ability on the backhand to hit winners. He really had to get down low for that one, but just kept on the ball so well, got so low, and it was a delightful pass.
And Lumsden's going to have to work hard here not to get broken on his opening service game of the day. And he would be a perfect start for Quail if he could do that. Quail up to the net. Oh, Lumsden passes him though. Forces juice. Great exchange of shots.
I'm just loving the attacking game style from both. We've seen pretty much 50% of the points we've seen so far have ended in a passing shot or a winning volley, and that only bodes well for the rest of the match. Can you hear me? Oh, I can see again. I mean, point after point, we are seeing incredible passes.
Yeah, that was a thing of beauty from Lumsden. He now holds the advantage in this and chance to hold on his opening game.
Holds the advantage, I like that. That works in two ways.
Punny.
Might use that.
One of the questions I had for you about Lumsden's style of play, we were talking yesterday, particularly with Shaw, about the advantage that he has being a taller player. But I've sort of noticed Lumsden actually gets very low as he hits the ball. He bends his knees more than I'm seeing some of the other players. What advantage is he getting from doing that?
God, what level?
Mixing it up, Lumsden. Just over the net.
Oh.
And it's Quail who is the one who's forced into the error in the end. The longest rally we have had in this match so far, demonstrating the level that these two players are at, how close they are in standard.
Had to be 20+ shots, that. I just love the way they're matching each other right now. Whatever one player gives, the other is pretty much seeing it back. I mean, it's incredible. Incredible stuff from both in the opening stages. Remember, do get your burning questions in to the live chat, because not only are myself and Will here to answer them, but we're going to pose them to our players who are going to come up on commentary at various points throughout the day. And of course, our top tennis training coach, Alex Slabinski, will be up to answer any questions you have around tennis, the players on court. That's so nice from David Quail, so smooth. Not wasting any time in getting up to the net and giving himself an easier volley than what it would have been if he took a bit more time to get there. He's so quick with seeing the opportunity.
Just on those questions there, you mentioned I'll answer them, but I think as you sort of hinted at with your question to me, perhaps I'll field the sartorial questions.
Yes.
Because I do, one thing I think about tennis is, because players aren't wearing a team kit, unless they're they're playing in the Olympics or the Davis Cup or something like that. Opportunity for the smash.
Well watched.
It looked like Lumsden hadn't quite got a hold of it, but he still finds the winner. Yeah, so what I was about to say, Alex, is it allows for a little bit more freedom of expression in terms of the outfits that the players get to wear. It's quite a fashionable sport. Who would you say is your pick in this match as the more elegantly dressed player? And we'll take into account all aspects, the bandana / cap, the top, the shorts, the trainers, and the socks, which obviously you went into a bit of detail on yesterday.
Well, the first thing that stands out to me, as much as David Quail's shoes are bright and have a bit of flair, but I love the Ewan Lumsden shoe. It looks like a basketball shoe to me.
It does.
That sort of Nike Air
Jordan.
Jordan, that's the one. I like those a lot, and I'm a big fan of the ankle brace. Big fan. Having been an Andy Murray fan growing up, he was my inspiration. He, of course, wore one on his right foot, I believe. Lumsden, of course, following the Scottish tradition, clearly.
Is it to keep their ankles warmer, perhaps, as much as support it?
Ah, beautiful, beautiful volley from Lumsden. Such pinpoint accuracy. Even Quail was questioning the umpire on that one because it was so close to the line. But it had to be that good because Quail's a good mover and was pretty close to getting that.
Was perfectly placed as Lumsden had progressively nudged his way further up towards the net. Shot after shot.
I mean, I think that possibly is a question we can pose to Sport Tape, who are here today, who have been providing a little bit of support to the players with various tapes and just rehab equipment. We've obviously got this week a rehab centre headed up by Anna Saunders, who's just recently graduated from Cardiff Met University. Incredible support for the players this week.
And they really needed it.
It's treacled over.
The apology from Quail.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, you've got to take the points wherever they come, and that pushes Quail just a point away from holding again. I was talking to Anna just before play, and she was saying how late she and her team worked yesterday, patching the players up after the 3 mammoth matches of singles that we had, and then the dingles just to add into the effort that they'd all expended.
Oh, what a backhand. Just that is a prime example. He hit that roughly, it's right in line with where I am now in the commentary box, but pretty much halfway between the baseline and the service line. And it wasn't a bad trading ball shot from David Quail. But just incredible movement up to the ball, takes the ball so early.
Such a contrast to the last game where Quail served. He won that to love, and now we're locked up at deuce.
Oh, I just love it.
Advantage,
Again,
Lumsden.
what stood out to me in that one was the height that Lumsden played with there. When they're in the backhand exchange, it's actually they're playing a little bit more with a flatter ball. But those couple of forehands, he lifted the ball high into the backhand of David Quail, allowing himself a bit more time just to get the forehand into play, and then he followed it up with a really, really nice volley. So it's not all about the flat shots that do the damage. Sometimes it's the slower ones with more spin. And that's where your question a little bit earlier comes into play, is the loading of the legs.
So maybe 10.
Because if you think about it, to get that height, you've got to drive up all the way. Your momentum has to be driving forward and up, not just forward. Otherwise, that's going to be a flatter shot. That's what both these players do well, and in particular, Lumsden.
And if, like me, you've questions, do send them through on the live chat. Quail has forced his way back to deuce here. Floated backhand.
Oh! Davo.
Advantage, Quail.
Davo, what a shot.
Yet another winner down the line. Great, as you said earlier, to see so many points being made rather than lost.
That running backhand pass is sublime.
Really, when you're beaten with a shot like that, as Lumsden just was, you can only have admiration for it. So, advantage Quail.
Out.
Back to Juice.
It's a difficult
for
shot,
the
that.
third time.
It's a really difficult shot. Because it's as much as, yes, Quail has the advantage, supposedly, that awkward forehand slice, forehand chisel from Lumsden meant that Quail really had to get low down to that. It was wide, so he had to get out wide to it. He had to get down low. And it just makes it so difficult to hit an approach on. Oh, wow.
Advantage Quail.
Volleying so well, aren't they?
They really are. But a good mix of winners being used by Quail in this game. Advantage once again.
Out.
Second serve coming in from Quail.
Out.
Fourth Juice.
Yes. One is here. Must change maybe 5 games. For free, Advantage Quail. Out.
And finally, Quail does
Quail.
finish this game off.
Quail leads 2 games to
4
1.
times. We were locked at Juice in that one. And that's critical for Quail, because Alex, I was going to say, if Lumsden had managed to come through that and break Quail there, it would have been 2 games in a row where they'd gone to Juice and Lumsden had managed to find his way through. And given how close these 2 players are in their levels, that would be such a psychological victory for Lumsden early on, to know that in the tight stuff, he's the one that's got it done 2 times out of 2. As it is, Quail shows he can deliver.
Yeah, I think that was a really important game for Davo Quail. I think these first few games are just so crucial for him because, like you say, they are very close in level. But it is Lumsden who has a slight advantage in terms of wins this week and also probably recent form. So I think for Quail to get these 2 early holds on the board is going to be really important for his confidence going into this. He obviously had a good win yesterday, which would have boosted his confidence a lot. But still work to do for Quail. But it's been a really, really good start. He's been playing some really good tennis. So if he carries on this way, he's just going to continue to give himself chances against a good player in Lumsden.
Out. 15 love. 15-all.
One thing I do want to mention about David Quail is that he loves to come here to Cardiff to play. He loves to compete here.
David. David. David.
Just as the umpire's trying to get David's attention.
So focused on the match.
But yeah, he comes back to Cardiff. It almost feels like every few weeks. It's the second home, we joked when he when he came back, because he was here for the Progress Tour 25K a few weeks ago. Then played in Portugal for a few weeks on the UTR Pro Tennis circuit, and then now he's back
15.
at his second home. But it's so great how Cardiff Met partner with the Progress Tour in providing so many competitive opportunities to these players.
Out. 40-15.
Well, and why wouldn't Quail want to come back to Cardiff? Alex, obviously the two of us, both based here as part of the Cardiff Met University Sport Broadcast Masters. We know that Cardiff has a huge amount to offer in terms of its lifestyle, in terms of the sports on offer, but then this university itself is such an incredible high-performance campus that I can understand why it would be a second home for Quail, and a place that you've benefited from being in as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, not only is it good for various sports courses in academia, but you can come here to play some top-level university tennis as well. Just recently, the university teams took part in the Bucks Individual Championships that took place at Loughborough University, which you were recently at. Quail thought he might catch it
Lumsden.
at the edge of that ball's life, but didn't quite get there in time.
Able to let out a little chuckle. Knows its early stages. Both players having held on their service games so far.
Hot. Out. It's very close, but it's out. Lap 15. You okay? Out. 15-all.
Do remember, of course, we have our live chat function on the live stream. So if you want to chat with us, and especially if you want to chat with the fountain of knowledge, the tennis expert, that is Alex Slabinski, I'm pleased to say he has jumped into the hot seat that Alex Hyman has just vacated, and he is here to answer all your tennis questions, whether they might refer to your own game and the coaching tips that you need to improve, or whether you want more insight on why the players we have on court are playing in a particular way. Then Alex Slabinski is the man to send those questions through to on the live chat. We're both monitoring it through the day, and we will be able to answer your questions.
Thank you for that intro. I am in the seat and ready to watch some great action today. Looks like the players are locked in at 2-all with Quail serving at 15:30.
I don't know whether you saw Quail's last service game, Alex, on your way up. We had 4 juices in it. 1 advantage for Lumsden, the rest for Quail. Came through that, but it was a real battle between the 2 players.
15-40.
I anticipate a battle. Both the guys play in a similar way, have a similar kind of game style. Both like to dominate from the back. So it'll be interesting to see who will come out on top on this one. I think, am I correct in saying that Quail won their last meeting? Possibly. So I think they've got a good rivalry going on there. But it's 15-40 and he's facing 2 break points.
Quail serving 2 break points down.
30-40.
Is rescued.
Rescued with a good serve there. That's what you want. A nice, quick, easy point. Straight to the next one.
Game Lumsden. Lumsden leads 3 games to 2.
Lumsden with the first break of this opening set. And how crucial will that prove to be as this match continues? Quail was able to rescue 1 break point there, but ultimately, Alex, it wasn't quite enough.
No, but it's still early in the set, so both the players are still settling into their game. So I'm sure there'll be opportunities here in the set to break back and get back on level terms, but he's going to have to work hard here.
Time.
If you are joining us from different countries, let us know where you're based. We'd like to hear from you. Are you enjoying the tennis? Do you play yourself? Are you a parent? Are you a fan? Are you another player? Make sure you leave us a little message in the live chat. Get involved.
Lumsden just hits that one, but actually it ends up providing him the advantage.
50 love.
So it trickled off the edge of the racket. Quail had to make up a huge amount of ground to get to it. He did, but then he was always poorly set for Lumsden. Shot down the line, which proved to be the winner. Also be interesting to know, Alex, whether this is the first time that people were watching a Progress Tour event or whether they have tuned in a number of times before.
Hopefully they've watched some of the earlier streams from the days before and decided they love it. So they've returned for more action. I don't blame them.
For someone that hasn't tuned in to the Progress Tour before, what are some of the key things that they need to know about the background of it?
Well, we've got 8 pro players, world ranked players. Some of the players are as high as 400 in the world. All of them competing for a prize fund of $10,000. So there's prize money at stake. There's UTR points at stake, WTN points at stake, and they're using this as practice, I guess, as warm-up, as a way to get some form coming into their pro events of the season. It's a great opportunity to watch the players from perhaps an angle that you haven't seen before, as well as hear our commentary and analysis of the game. We did do some on-court coaching as well, so if you managed to catch that yesterday, let us know. If you enjoyed that, we'll try to do more of that today. But yeah, all in all, it's a great event for players to compete, and of course a great venue here in Cardiff, Wales, at the Met University. A lovely centre. They have a great program for players. They've got a junior program and a program for students of the university, so doing very well. And I understand why, because such a great venue with great courts, indoors, so not weather dependent. And that's why it's the venue of choice for the Progress Tour on many of their events.
Very important when it comes to tennis in the UK to have venues that are not weather dependent.
We've had some great weather over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Hardly any rain.
When we could be playing outside under beautiful sunshine and relatively warm temperatures for this time of year.
Thing is, you just can't guarantee it.
No, we all remember those long rain delays at Wimbledon when the covers came out.
With the roof coming over to stop the rain. Yeah, it's difficult on any level when you are a player and competing and traveling around the world. You do have a lot of rain delays and even sometimes wind delays that I've had when I went to New Zealand. So you have extreme wind where they have to pause play. You have flooding, which sometimes occurs, and I've had occasions where they have had courts completely flooded. They used buckets in order to get the water away, so all the players were on courts using buckets to carry the water off. That was in the Netherlands, so I'm sure there's many stories that players around the world go through in terms of weather and having to go through that. And it's difficult because it's a lot of start and stop. You have to be off court quite a lot. You have to keep yourself warm. When do you eat? When do you warm up? And yeah, it can really play with your physical and mental state. So you have to be really mentally strong to deal with those breaks.
A difference of opinion between Quail and the umpire to close Lumsden's last game. Quail of the opinion that a let should have been called on Lumsden's serve. The umpire didn't hear the ball hit the net, so he apologised to Quail, who'd later hit the ball off court, which had allowed Lumsden to hold following the break on Quail's last serve.
Of course, if you have been watching tournaments like Wimbledon, they have the net sensor, which unfortunately we don't have here, which lets the umpire know if the ball has touched the net. But here we're simply having to rely on our ears and our eyes. So when it's a really faint contact, it's sometimes not easy to spot.
Well, and especially with no line judges, the umpire's got so much that they've got to be aware of. Not just focused on the net.
And it's amazing looking at Lumsden court position there. Even though he missed the ball, he finds himself inside that baseline so often. I really like that about his game. We covered it a little bit yesterday in terms of areas of court and the different types of shot you should be hitting, whether you're in defense, in the neutral rally position, in attack, or when you're putting shots away closer to the net. And you can see Lumsden get into that attacking position time and time again due to the fact that Quail sometimes is not finding the depth. So it's, you know, if you are playing matches yourself at events, look out for shorter balls. Don't let the player get away with it, and try and emulate what Lumsden's doing out there. Of course, when you need to defend, you can stand back a little bit like he's doing right now, and gives him the ability to make that amazing passing shot cross court.
One of the questions that Alex Simon brought up before you came on commentary, Alex, was the cap versus bandana divide. Do you play with either, and where would you stand on that?
So yeah, I play with a cap when it's sunny and hot, so you're trying to protect your head as much as possible, make it less hot out there, because it definitely influences your decision making, especially if you're playing in a hot country. Not the case here indoors in Wales, but yeah, it's players tend to use the cap or bandana because of long hair. You don't want hair going in your eye. Certainly when I had longer hair, I played with a cap, but then I sometimes would play with a bandana. It made me feel a little bit more like Rambo out there. It gave me that, put me into battle mode, made me look a little bit more of a warrior. So I sometimes elected for I went for the bandana just for that aspect, for that mental influence on your opponent. But of course, sometimes it does, you know, it depends if you can get away with it or not, where you can pull it off with your look. I don't think I always did.
Well, it's working for Lumsden here. That error from Quail bringing up break points for the second game in a row for Lumsden. And this would be a huge point to win. He has 2 of them here, which would allow him to serve for the set.
Out.
Just wide.
30-40.
I used to have a red bandana, like Rambo.
Yep.
Didn't
So
use the
that's a
face paint
bold
though.
move.
I didn't have the face paint though, you know. But
Is that a regret that you have? Do you think the face paint maybe would have just given you that extra little bit, unsettled your opponent slightly
possibly
more?
Yeah, they would think the guy's a little bit crazy, so better watch out.
I mean, we're seeing more and more of that in certain sports. American football, it's not just the quarterbacks that wear the stripes under their eyes to keep the sun out anymore. Maybe the days are dawning of that coming into tennis, but it would feel like quite a departure from tradition. I would say I prefer a bandana to a sweatband.
Game Lumsden.
That's
Leads 5
double
games to
fault
2.
from Quail. Hands Lumsden the break, who now leads 5-2. And what a turnaround this has been from the first 2 games of the set. Quail serving first and won his game to love. Lumsden then nearly was broken on his opening serve, which could have seen Quail have the absolute perfect start. As it is, he won his opening 2 serves, and from there it's been all Lumsden.
Guys, if you are just joining us, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. First of all, press that notification bell so you don't miss out on future lessons from us, as well as further broadcasts like this coming up tomorrow, where we have the semi-finals and the finals days. And also give us your questions. Right now we've got a bit of time as the players prepare to come back out for the end of the set, I guess. So we have a bit of time to answer some of your questions, so do send them through. Let's have a little bit of engagement. Let us know that you're watching and if you're enjoying the tennis here so far.
Out. 15 love.
As well as that question functionality, we've also got the really insightful innovation of the interviews at the end of the set with the set winner. It currently looks like it's going to be Ewan Lumsden, just 2 points away now. Alex Hyman should be courtside to grab that interview and get Lumsden's initial thoughts. If he can close out here. Set point for Lumsden, as Quail is unable to return that latest serve from the Scot.
I watched a little bit of the practice early, and Quail was returning pretty well, actually. He worked a little bit on that return, and doesn't seem to be finding that form now when he needs it. And that relentless attack there from Lumsden. You can see that the speed of his shots are just more powerful than Quail, really pushing Quail back behind the baseline, calling the shots, being aggressive, and deserves that first set, which he takes comfortably 6-2.
In the end, winning that set at a bit of a canter, Alex, which wasn't necessarily how it looked like it was going to be at the start. These two players looked really perfectly matched.
Yeah, just a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more urgency in his game, and he's played the big points well out there. Of course, you know, we've still got the second set to play, but he looks in a very dominant position out there at the moment.
Time to go courtside to Alex Hyman, who's with Ewan Lumsden.
Ewan, a very good first set from your side.
Yeah, I mean, quite a lot of long rallies. You know, at the start he was coming forward pretty well, volleying well, so just having to try and keep him on the move, really.
And you're actually coming to the net quite a lot, it seemed, from early on when I was on comms. Is that a tactic you're trying to implement today?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get to the net. I mean, I feel like when I can get to the net, I will win quite a lot of the points. So just trying to do it as much as possible, get forward.
All right, go and get your water filled up and get ready for the second set. Thanks, Ewan. There we go. So getting to the net quite a lot, clearly a tactic. Let's see how he does it in the second set. And if he can manage to close it out, Ewan Lumsden's looking good. I'll throw you back up now to Will and Alex in comms.
Thank you, Alex. Good to hear the thoughts of Ewan just immediately after he has come off the court, having locked up that first set with a 6-2 scoreline. He's the first back out on court as well. The two players not needing to spend too much time rehydrating, refueling. How do you think Quail is going to be feeling coming back out here, Alex? He obviously had a good win yesterday and wouldn't have expected to be 4 games down at the end of that first set.
Yeah, it's I mean, the set went a little bit too quick for him. I think he hasn't quite got stuck in there yet. I think he needs to find a way to start winning those longer rallies. At the moment, he's just being a little bit passive, giving all the initiative to his opponent. So he needs to step in a little bit, take a few more risks, try and break up the play, try and come forward maybe. And yeah, he needs to do something. He needs to change a little bit of that tempo, maybe throw in some high balls, some slices, because at the moment, Lumsden is looking all too comfortable out there.
And just on the rackets the two players are using, think they both Wilson, if I'm not mistaken.
You are mistaken.
Lumsden's not.
Lumsden's using a Babolat Aero. I had a little look at it earlier. It's a Babolat Pure Aero Plus, so it's the extended, longer version of the Aero. Gives you a little bit more power, a little bit more reach. And I used to actually use an extra long racket myself. Now, not so much because, yeah, now I'm not competing as much. But yeah, when you do use an extra long, it gives you a little bit more pop on your serve, a little bit more power on your shots, and that's the racket that he's using. Quail is using a Wilson. I think it looks like the Blade. More of an all-court racket, so where Lumsden's going for power and spin, he's got more an all-court racket, control racket. I guess it's what the players prefer. It's a personal preference. I always prefer to have as much power and help as I could get out there on court. So maybe Quail needs that right now as well.
Do you tend to recommend a certain style of racket for players as they're getting into their tennis and really trying to take it seriously for the first time?
Yeah, I think it's always good to try a few different brands and see what you prefer. Have a few rackets on court with you that you can play all the different shots with and switch immediately, because sometimes when you play with a racket you think it's great and it's simply because you're having a good day, and then the next day you come back and you realize that it's not so great. So it's always good to have a few rackets that you wanted to try. I know that Andy Murray recently changed rackets. Well, before his coaching job with Djokovic, he was looking at playing with different rackets, eventually settling in for the Yonex E-Zone. But I know that he had at least 6 or 7 rackets with him on court and tried every single one in rallies and points. And then, yeah, chose one. So I think it all depends on the player, all depends on what you see yourself and how you see your game style, and definitely try and match it up to that. So if you are someone that's looking for a bit more power, go for a more powerful racket, and also play around with string tension, because it's sometimes the string and the string tension makes a big difference to a racket. So the tighter you string it, the less power you're going to get out of it, but you get more control. The looser you string the racket, the less you have to do with it. You get that trampoline effect a lot more. You get more power out of the racket. So if you are trying different rackets from the back of the court, make sure that you're all strung with the same string and strung at the same string tension, and actually strung at the same time as well, ideally, because the longer you leave a racket, even strung, it will lose tension with time. So if you are someone that doesn't play very often, sometimes it's a good idea to restring your racket every few months, just to keep the tension fresh.
Quail had stared off court almost in desperation at the conclusion of that last game, agonized by the fact that he had lost his service game to love, having come out following the set break, a set break that he would have hoped would have allowed him to reset and get himself back into this match, which currently, down 1-love with Lumsden serving, looks to be slipping away from Quail rather faster than he would like. Lumsden, knowing he holds the upper hand and just having that reinforced as Quail, completely unable to control that shot, slams the ball into the ceiling.
Has quite big swings on that return. If I was his coach, I'd be telling him to just block a few more returns, get into some points. Too many mistakes of that return. He needs to make that. If you've got your strings onto the ball, you have to make that ball. So if you are missing it too much, reduce the area of the court that you're going for. Don't go for the lines. Don't go too deep. make the ball, make the player play the next shot and get into some longer rallies, which Quail is not doing right now.
That going long.
That's 4 returns missed there.
We are 2 games into this second set, and Quail is yet to score a point.
Way too many mistakes. He should be disappointed with that game, especially having been broken already. You know, you need to really focus on that return and make sure that you're getting yourself into those points and give yourself the best chance of winning them. If you don't make your return, you're never going to do that.
We move into the 9th game of the match. Quail hasn't won a game since the 3rd. A run he must put an end to. That was a good start to it. And it is his first point of this second set. 15 love. Love 2 down. Love 1 on sets.
A more positive point there. Went for a little bit more power, possibly out of frustration even. Just swinging through the shot a little bit more, which could help him find that confidence again. Again, a more positive point coming forward there with the backhand.
This looks to be the reset that Quail would have wanted between the sets. Might have come a couple of games later than he would have liked, but it keeps him alive in this one as Lumsden hits long. And here from the cheer, Quail lets out. That's more like it for the man from Wigan, who, as Alex Hyman mentioned, has made Cardiff something of a second home. Trains out of London generally, but he's here so often. So good are the facilities on offer here. And Alex, I'm hoping that we've seen a few more subscribers to the Top Tennis Training YouTube.
Well,
since yesterday, where we're hosting this live stream.
If you guys are watching now and you haven't subscribed, make sure that you do that right now. Press the subscribe button, press the notification bell, so that you don't miss out on videos like this in the future.
Alex, it feels like a while since we've seen a rally like that between the two. The kind of struggles on returns that Quail especially has had have meant we've not had much of a run of shots, but more like it there.
Yeah, he needs to get into more of those rallies, even if he's going to lose a few at the beginning. He needs to feel like he's in the match. Currently wasn't getting much rhythm. Too many mistakes, costing him the first set. I think he's heard me.
Clips the net. Still play continues. The slice on the backhand for Quail not working out for him. Or points for Lumsden. But it feels like a total shift in the style from the two players since the change of ends, Alex?
Yeah, a lot more positive from Quail. Even though he's lost the points so far, he's playing a lot better, a little bit more proactive, and a little bit more consistent as well. It's the only way he can find a way to get back into this match. But went too big with that forehand return. On the first serve, again, you don't need to try and hit a winner. Try and hit a decent return. Try and get yourself on level terms. On the second serve, you can look to attack a little bit more.
It feels to me with that style of play that Lumsden, of the players we're seeing in this tournament, is perhaps the best proponent of using all his body to create that explosive power. How important is it for players when you're coaching them not to just think about the movement of their upper body, but to really focus on the whole body?
Yeah, and it's something we can cover on court when I get out there, and we can look into it in a little bit more depth on that power generation. Very important aspect of the game. If you want to be good, you have to find a way to generate easy power. And yeah, I think Lumsden definitely uses his legs quite well. Could get a little bit more extension on it on the forehand, but all round pretty good.
You were talking yesterday about the ability to slide as well. Lumsden using that a couple of times in that latest exchange. He once again ends up as the victor of, to move to a 3-1 lead in this second set.
Looks like he's got some ankle braces on as well. A lot easier to back yourself that you're not going to break an ankle doing that on a hard court. I think I certainly wouldn't be trying it myself.
Yeah, Alex Hyman was saying that he is a fan of those himself, having been inspired by Andy Murray wearing one on his right ankle, and Lumsden following in that Scottish tradition.
We've got a question here from Busy Paw. Any tips for keeping your mental resilience up? Oh, well, I think it's important to take time between points. If you're not doing well, you need to take time, keep breathing in between shots. Try and focus on the processes rather than the outcome. A lot of the times we get nervous, we get tight because we are worried about the outcome. I think the more you can focus on the process, about what you're trying to do out there, your game style, focus on yourself, the things that you can control, the easier it will be to handle the nerves, the pressure, and will in turn make you more resilient to what's happening out there on court. But it's not easy when you know, you've got prize money at stake, you've got ranking points at stake, and personal pride at stake, and these guys want to beat each other. They want to have that mental edge over their opponent, and that's when a little bit of frustration can start to come in. So it's important to keep it in check.
We saw quite a bit of that in the third and final singles match yesterday between Bass and Cantor. Both players sort of having different styles of frustration when they missed a shot or made an error. Do you think that those differing styles may have sort of had a difference in the end result of that? Bass seemed to expend less energy with his frustration, and he ultimately came out on top.
Yeah, I think it depends. It's what works for the player, but I think you definitely don't want to keep it bottled up for too long. You have to find a way to let go. Some players, you know, they scream. Some players throw a racket, which is not the ideal way to do it. But as long as it's, you know, if that happens and it just happens once and you let it go and you reset, I find that more acceptable than someone who just dwells on the mistakes and gets himself into that downward spiral that kind of moaning on court and negative body language, it can really then affect your game. So I think instead of resetting and breaking that pattern, if you are someone that's gets too deep into it and finds it tough to do that, you need to you know, keep breathing, take your time, and yeah, if you need to scream out, you know, make sure it's just a once you know, in a while occurrence, that you're not just getting into the habit of showing that emotion constantly, because don't forget, when you are playing and you are getting that negative emotion and showing negative body language, you're showing it also to your opponent, which in turn is powering their confidence and making them even more difficult to beat. It's a lot more difficult playing someone who's doesn't show too much, and even when they miss, they look you know, so mentally composed and strong. So you have to be a good actor out there as well on court to show your opponent that you are not fazed by what's happening, and you're still going to give it the maximum fight.
So Lumsden holding a 4-1 advantage in this set, a 1-set-to-love advantage in the match overall. Winning the opening point there, as Quail not able to get the return in. And Lumsden knows he is very close to being able to wrap up this match. And with the semi-finals and final to come tomorrow, it's pretty key to be able to get through your final group matches today, tiring yourself out as little as possible, Alex.
Definitely, and I think today is, you can still, you know, you don't want to be trying to win and not do too much moving or too much working. These guys will be putting their maximum into the match, and yes, if you end up playing so well that it becomes a quicker match, it's a bonus. I think tomorrow, for one of the players in the semi-finals, they're obviously going to have to play 2 matches, you know, one after another. So it's going to be a little bit easier for the player who plays the first rubber compared to the second semi-final. So that's where I think it will matter quite a bit, because if the second semi-final goes into a 3-set marathon, they are going to have some time to recover before the final, which could be costly.
Second serve coming up for Lumsden as he looks to win this game to love. Slide coming in from Quail. It meant he didn't quite have full control of the shot, which just edges the wrong side of the line. Lumsden a game away. He will have to face the serve of Quail, but twice he has taken that on and broken Quail without giving up a single point. So really, you could say here, Lumsden returning for the match.
Out.
And Quail there trying to come forward, trying to do something to change his fortunes, but very difficult at the moment, being 5-1 down. That belief is wavering, no doubt.
$30 love. 15 all. Sorry. $15 all. In
this game from Quail.
Out.
Just missed that lob there, Lumsden, but you can see
30,
how
15.
difficult he is to beat. He just gets to everything and seems to find quality on the shot, and just slightly over hit it there long, but it just shows why he is ahead in this match.
I thought he had no chance of getting to that one, but he was only just long with his return.
Out. 30 all.
All. Quail refusing to go down without a fight in what could be the final game of this match. Long from Lumsden
40-30.
will give Quail the opportunity to push this set into a seventh. In fact, no, sorry, an eighth game. This is the seventh game of the set. A really well disguised drop shot from Lumsden that Quail was just not able to get to, brings up juice. Great contest there though.
A good rally, and Quail really did well there to push Lumsden back, who then found his way back into the net again. He just keeps on coming. Very difficult match for Quail out there today.
Floated return from Lumsden. It's not quite managed to get a hold of that one. Advantage Quail.
Janelle Abad says, sheesh, Lumsden is nasty. I hope she means as a tennis player to play against.
Yeah, well, I think that's quite a compliment these days for a sportsman. Nasty is the kind of thing you want to hear about yourself, not used in the old way. He might be nasty, but he's not managed to finish this one off. Quail holding the advantage in that. Benefits from Lumsden's error. And it is 5-2 Lumsden. Second set. He will now serve for the match.
Guys, if you are enjoying this broadcast, make sure that you A, subscribe to the channel and press the notification bell. B, make sure you share this stream with anyone that you think would enjoy it. So with any tennis friends, share it on your social media. We'd love to get more people involved, more people watching this stream. And of course, we'll be bringing you more action after this match. But of course, this match is still not over. So Quail will need to do something. We'll need to come out and break Lumsden here in the second set, which he hasn't managed to do yet.
We did see some incredible comebacks yesterday with a number of players forcing tie breaks where it looked like they were done and dusted in a set. Do not rule anything out. This Novellus Easter Bowl has thrown up some excellent matches, some intriguing storylines so far, and it continues to deliver here on day 3. Lumsden just knocking that one over
50 love.
and then beating Quail confidently.
Can be so compact when he needs to be, Lumsden, on his technique. When he's being attacked, he just manages to reduce his backswing and still get power on that shot.
30 love.
I mean, that was lovely to watch there. He just looks a class above right now. Love Lumsden.
Out.
Quail actually disagreeing with the umpire there, or not quite being sure of his call, even though the call does benefit Quail, showing he is an honest player. The umpire did seem to have a little bit of hesitation as he spoke the call.
And just to let you know, Ewan Lumsden is the current 659th world ranked player. So he's ranked 659 on the ATP Tour. Had a great season last year, looking to build on it this year. Of course, he's still only 25 years old.
Quail able only to applaud Lumsden's shot there that brings up match point for the Scot. Game, set and match. Ewan Lumsden 6-2, 6-2 in the opening match of the day here, day 3 of the Novellus Easter Bowl, and that confirms Ewan Lumsden has topped his group, and he will progress through to the semi-finals tomorrow. Story will be the runner-up in this one for Quail. The tournament comes to an end, and quite a comprehensive one. A straight set victory for Ewan Lumsden. Not too much time having to be spent on court compared to the mammoth matches we saw yesterday. Match time in this just over an hour and 10 minutes. Alex, he's going to be looking forward to that semi-final with a huge amount of confidence after this display.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, he played a good match there. I think Quail is going to be disappointed with his performance. Didn't get stuck in enough. Quite a few mistakes there, and but fair play to Lumsden. He really took the match to Quail. He didn't let him have any breathing space. Played aggressive tennis, didn't make too many mistakes, and his first serve percentage was high, forcing a lot of those return mistakes from Quail. So yeah, if he can bring that kind of form into the semi-final and possibly the final, he'll be dangerous and difficult to beat. We have had a question here on the timings for tomorrow for the semi-final and the final. I will get confirmation on those timings and possibly get them up on screen for those of you that want to tune in for that semi-final and final match, which will feature the winner of this match, Ewan Lumsden, the current number 659 in the world.
Great to see the two players able to share some friendly words between themselves following the end of that match. These players spent so much time together on the Progress Tour and indeed in the hotel between matches. So they're all close friends. And we're just seeing Ewan Lumsden head over to our studio, where he will be joining Alex and Barry very shortly. The match coming up, the second match of the day coming up on court very soon. But first, an interview with the winner, Ewan Lumsden.
Thanks, Will. Yeah, we are now joined by Barry Fulcher and the winner of that first match of the day here on day 3 of the Progress Tour. A very convincing win once again, Ewan. Things are working out well for you this week.
Yeah, it was probably played the best match today. I mean, David will always have close matches, so I just thought he played a little bit worse and I played a bit better, so I managed the scoreline. But yeah, I'm happy with the performance.
Barry, what impressed you from Ewan's performance just then?
Yeah, another great performance. I think, as Ewan said, he's been pretty strong all week. Came through a great battle yesterday against Ryan Story, a real high-quality encounter. And I guess getting matches under your belt, getting used to conditions, it was your best performance for sure, and looking very commanding out there. So well done, sir.
And in terms of group standings, you now top the group. You've secured your place in tomorrow. You must be feeling good about that.
That's good. Yeah, I'm happy. Just have to see. I'm not sure how I'll play yet, but I think whoever I play, if I can play well, I'll have a good chance. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, as we've seen, I think the Dingle showed us yesterday that we've got 8 very competitive guys. It's been a long few days, some great matches. So we've got the other group there that's wide open, lots to play for, with Marsh currently a set-up against Finn. So who you play, when you play, unknown, but it's going to be a really good day ahead of us tomorrow.
In terms of thoughts going into that one tomorrow, obviously semi-final and then potentially a final if you do go on to win it. What are your thoughts going in? Who would you prefer to play? Is there any preference?
Oof, not really. I mean, it's going to be tough with 2 matches if I make the final, so just have to try to rest and recover and see if I can manage two in the day if that happens.
No, very good. What will you be doing now over the next few hours? Give the viewers a little insight into what goes on after a Ewan Lumsden win.
I don't know. Actually, I have a lot of time now, so I don't know. Maybe I'll go out somewhere or I'll just watch. We'll see. But I'll just chill out. Yeah.
Maybe some time to go and enjoy Cardiff a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe go into any recommendations.
Barry's been here enough times.
I know Cardiff Met University and the Cardiff Mercure Hotel. That's about it. That's my extent of knowledge, really.
How have you been enjoying the hotel and things like that this week?
Yeah, amazing. Like having the hotel and all the physios. I mean, they've been so good. We can get recovery every night, which is amazing. Like you don't get that any other tournament. So, just grateful for that. And yeah, it's all really good.
All right, we'll go and enjoy some recovery, and we'll see you later on.
Thanks, Ash. Cheers.
Thanks, Ewan. Well, there we go. Post-match interviews done, and next up after the ads, we'll be previewing the next match between Alexis Cantor and Charlie Swain. Welcome back. Things decided in the hotel planner group, Barry, but it's all still to play for in the Novellus group. We've got Alexis Cantor warming up beside us here. Some relatives doing the work with the ball warm up. Exciting match ahead between Cantor and Swain.
Yeah, the Novellus group is shaping up to be really exciting. We've got the youngest, the rookie as we have nicknamed him, Charlie Swain, coming into this encounter. He's really shown himself to be a contender this week and caused everybody a lot of trouble coming through, losing a tight first match against Finn Bass and overcoming Marsh yesterday. So lots to look forward to in this one. I think it's going to be another tight battle.
And in terms of the head-to-heads, Cantor's obviously got a world ranking of 1,088. Swain's obviously still only 18, yet to gain a ranking, but they're very close in UTR. It's actually Cantor just ahead at 12.93, Swain at 12.48. Any sort of thoughts on that? Does that have much of a play in it?
Yeah, I mean, what that tells us is that it's going to be very, very tight, very competitive. They're very close together in UTR, so there's not going to be a lot between them. I think Alexis has obviously been playing at this level for a lot longer. Charlie is sort of just getting out there and competing against these sort of players week in, week out. So it's difficult to pick much between them, really. We know it's going to be tight. I wouldn't like to put any money on who's going to come through the other side of it. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, for sure. And what impressed me yesterday was Cantor's ability to come back from a tough loss against Bass. I mean, that was such a high-quality match. You can go back and watch it on yesterday's live stream. It was the final match of the day. It kept us all waiting, but we were happy to wait because it was such good quality. But he was able to respond from that and get the win in the Dingles with partner Ryan Story.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was a phenomenally long day. We had 8.5 hours, I think, for 3 matches. So for the guys to come out 30 minutes later and put in the performance they did on the Dingles court, it was great fun for them, I think, and great fun for everybody watching at home. So he did well. No doubt he was exhausted, but it was great to see him sort of finish up with a title at the end of that. It's great.
All right, there we go. That's that match previewed. Let's have a little. We had a little word with Cantor and Swain a couple of days ago, specifically about how they were feeling heading into this matchup.
My name is Alexis Cantor. I'm 26 years old. I'm from Oxfordshire, and I train in London. I grew up playing at the local leisure centre that was built shortly after I was born in Abingdon. Grew up playing there. Started with some mini red groups and took an enjoyment to it straight away. And then I had a coach there, Ed Izzard, who was a great guy, kind of helped get my enjoyment for the game from an early age and develop me technically. And then from around the age of 12, my dad took over as my main coach, and he has been ever since, and he's taken me to do some great things. Yeah, so I won the UTR here, and that was great. That's probably my biggest win in the last couple of years. I'd switched racket for that tournament to the Babolat Aero. First time I switched from the blade in a long time, and that seemed to help me, you know. Beat some really good players and was feeling really confident. I think my biggest achievement overall in my tennis career is being able to keep enjoying playing. I think, you know, you got the material results. I made the top 50 in juniors in the world. I played junior Wimbledon, played Tsitsipas on the courts there, which was a great memory. But my greatest achievement is being able to keep enjoying it. A lot of guys don't. Yeah, I know everybody here pretty well. There's a guy standing right behind you right now, Ryan Story, who I've known for my whole junior career. Very funny guy. Unbelievably good looking as well. Charlie Swain, he plays with a lot of flair. He's a very relaxed competitor. You can tell he has fun on the court, which makes him very dangerous. He could really light it up at any moment, so you got to be on it.
My name is Charlie Swain. I'm 18 years old and I'm from Bristol. And I sort of train in Bath, sort of train in Bristol, so go between the two. Well, I started at like 3 or 4. Mum got me into it, and I mean, playing at Wimbledon obviously was a massive highlight, and winning a round in front of my parents and friends was a really cool experience, so gotta go with that. Yeah, I mean, my 2025 is going to be a lot less interesting compared to everyone else. I've just been, well, revising as much as I can, not too much, but Yeah, and I've played one tournament in M25, and that's about it. Yeah. Ooh. Well, we'll start from the top with Finn Bass. Yeah, I train with him a little bit at Bath. So yeah, and I'm playing him tomorrow, so it should be a good match. Get on with him well. Lumsden, of course, I've been around him quite a lot. Stayed in a few rooms with him, so yeah, he's a great guy. Michael Shaw, just seen him around. Haven't spoken to him too much, but yeah, I know everyone here, so they're all great people. So yeah. Alexis. Oh, I played Alexis a couple of times before. Played him at Cromer and played him at Edgbaston. Yeah, so it's 1-1 between us. So trilogy should be exciting. He very clean ball striker, so should be quite a high winner match hopefully. So yeah.
Well, there we go. We've just heard from the man himself, and now he's here beside me. Alexis, how are you feeling going into this one?
Feeling good, yeah. Body's feeling great considering it was a long match yesterday. I've recovered well. Yeah, just looking forward to having another go at it today.
And just some tactical stuff going in against a young player. How are you going to go against him?
He can, you know, like Finn said after he played him, he can hit a winner from anywhere. He's very relaxed on the ball, so I'm just going to have to be, you know, stay on it and accept that there'll be some good stuff from him, and just try and stay as solid as possible myself.
Perfect. Well, all the best. We'll let you crack on.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alexis. Well, that's Alexis Cantor. He heads into this one just above Swain in the UTR rating, but we're going to have a chat with Charlie Swain now, the youngster. Charlie, come on in. How are you feeling ahead of this one?
Yeah, pretty good. I've played him a couple of times before, and I know he's an extremely good player. He's in great form right now, so just going to give it my best, and yeah, that's all I can ask myself.
You've had some tough battles already this week. We saw blood yesterday. I mean, you've been doing all you can to fight against these players that are ranked above you. They're older than you. You're doing so well to match them. How have you managed your body and your game this week?
Oh yeah, I mean, thankfully to the physios we have here. I mean, I've been in there probably for 3 hours yesterday, and then been in there for about half an hour today. So it's all down to them, really. Yeah.
Well, congratulations so far on a great week, and good luck for this one.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie. Well, coming right up on this live stream, it's Charlie Swain against Alexis Cantor, and it's all to play for because this match could be a decider to who goes in to tomorrow's semi-final lineup. Going to throw you up to Will Shepherd on commentary.
Thank you, Alex. Youth versus experience in this one. Charlie Swain, just 18 years old, taking on Cantor, a 26-year-old, who we saw in the show court in the third singles match yesterday. As you can see on screen now, Charlie Swain not yet ranked on the ATP World Tour, where Alexis Cantor is just outside the top 1,000 and holds the slight advantage in UTR score. Both men from the south of the country, and continuing our right-hand domination of this tournament. Just knocking warm-up shots between them, with the match underway very shortly. There we see again, just 88 spots outside the top 1,000. Alexis Cantor winning more games than he's losing or more matches I should say, sorry, than he's losing so far this year. 16 victories, 7 losses. He'll be looking to move that to a 17-7 record here. Charlie Swain, really into his third match of the year. 1-1, lost one so far. Yet to be ranked, as we mentioned a moment ago. This young man trains out of Bath University, yet another of the sporting hubs in this country. We've talked, of course, about Cardiff Met. We talked about Loughborough University, Stirling, which is an excellent hub for tennis, but Bath University, a great place for Charlie Swain to be based at this point in his career. He might not be ranked himself, but he has beaten the current ATP 953rd in the world, Marko Maksimovic. And both these players favouring an aggressive style of play. But one interesting difference in these two men that may be reflected in the way they play on court and the way they approach their matches is the highly contrasting choice of walkout songs. Alexis Cantor, with a few more years under his belt, perhaps a fan of Peaky Blinders, has gone for Red Right Hand by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. Very different to that is Charlie's choice of Diamonds by Rihanna. I think they're both good choices, but I would probably edge in favour, if I'm getting myself hyped up, of the Rihanna track. Why don't you let us know what you think by using the chat function that we have on our YouTube live stream. You could even send through what your walkout song would be. Maybe you are a top level tennis player and you do get the opportunity to choose that yourself, or maybe you just dream of those moments. What would your walkout song be, and who has got the better one here? Diamonds by Rihanna is the pick by Charlie Swain. Red Right Hand by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds is Alexis Cantor's pick. And very shortly we will have Alex Hyman joining me in the commentary box here. And Alex, I'm going to pose that question to you. I was just talking about their walkout songs.
1 minute.
Did you get to the point where you had a walkout song that was played for you? And if so, what was it?
I was never at the point where I had to challenge myself to thinking about a walkout song. I think you have to get to a certain level as a player to get to that, and I never did. So, yeah, luckily I didn't have that. I once actually, believe it or not, Sheps acted as a bit of a DJ for the Progress Tour event, the first live streamed one. We had a similar sort of style to the Dingles event last night, and it was in a tiebreak tens format, and that's really fun format, lots of music, and that was where I first had the thought of, you know what, better get thinking of some good songs for things like walkout songs if I get requests from players. So yeah, I've never really thought about it too much, but that was the first time I did. If I was going to have a walkout song, Hey Portia. Nelly, in case you weren't aware.
Do you want to give us a little rendition of it on the mic now?
No chance. Absolutely not. I think we'd have the live chat going for all the wrong reasons after that, so I'll save them the...
Hey Portia by Nelly, the choice of Alex Hyman. So are you then, like me, coming down more on the side of Charlie Swain, where he picked Diamonds by Rihanna compared to Red Right Hand by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds as picked by Alexis Cantor?
Massively for Charlie Swain's
Ready?
Song choice there.
Play.
And I'm just really excited to see what he can bring to the table today. Really, really excited.
Love.
Charlie Swain opening the serving And opening the scoring here in our second match on the show court today. Thank you, Busy Paul, for your question about the timings for tomorrow. We will, of course, be bringing you 2 semi-finals, first of which will start at 9 a.m. The second scheduled to start at 10:30. We all know from yesterday. Oh my goodness.
It's Michael Jordan.
What athleticism from Charlie Swain. We've seen some balls hit the ceiling through the matches so far this week. I don't think Charlie Swain was too far off the top of his head brushing it as well.
That was
an incredible leap.
That was insane. I mean, I'm trying to think of the player that does that the best. I mean, Pete Sampras comes to mind with a few. What do you call that? Almost the. I don't even know what you call it.
It's like a salmon leaping in the air if a salmon could play tennis to the level that Charlie Swain has played tennis.
30-15.
I'll tell him.
Hot. $40-15.
Well, as we see Charlie Swain move to a 40-15 lead in this opening game. And the umpire just making sure housekeeping is kept up to standards, sending Alexis Cantor after that ball down at his end. I'm very pleased to say that we are joined by David Quail, fresh off the court. David, great to have you alongside us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah. A little bit tired in the legs, but feeling all right.
Yeah, tough to have the opening match of the day. That mean a particularly early start for you, bearing in mind you'd had a long match yesterday and then you'd been involved in the Dingles as well.
I mean, to be honest, it doesn't really bother me. I prefer to be playing first on, so I know when I'm on and can kind of do my routines before it. But actually, I mean, to be honest, the physios here have been doing a really good job. I feel pretty fresh. So yeah, they've kept us in good nick. But yeah, I feel great actually. I mean, I actually feel all right now, even after quite a physical battle with Ewan. So yeah.
The level you guys brought was high from what I was watching, especially in those first probably 4 or 5 games. We were pretty impressed with the way you were coming to the net. Like you were playing sort of picture perfect points, just like point after point.
I mean that was my kind of idea. I thought, if I'm going to play Ewan, I've got to play aggressive. I've got to play the right way, or else he's just going to be so solid from the back. He's going to be hard. You know, he's a tough wall to break down. So, I mean, he passed unbelievably today. I think the way that I played and the intention that I had was very good, and it actually was the right way to play. It's just on the day he's kind of had the answers, and I think those are things like looking back at it, myself, I'm like, that's fine. Like, I think as a tennis player, playing like that is how I'm going to improve, and getting comfortable, kind of approaching, closing the net down and being aggressive, and because I can almost guarantee that not everyone's going to do, pass like that every time, and I've just played a very hot opponent that, is playing really well.
A long rally to open this service game from Alexis Cantor, and it ends with Charlie Swain managing to find a way past his opponent to get that opening score. So off the back of your match, Ewan qualifies top of the group, David. Do you see him going deep in the competition tomorrow with the semis and the final to come?
Yeah, I mean, I think that means that, Ewan and Story are through. I mean, both of those boys being in my group, I think, are playing really, really good tennis. And, their match yesterday was phenomenal. But yeah, I really see Ewan, going deep in this. He doesn't really have a flaw in his game at the moment, When I played him last time, I think his forehand was something that I definitely, went at more. But in this this match here. I mean, he just was taking it early and then, you know, was dragging me so far wide that I had a completely different pressure. So he's really improved in the, you know, even in the last kind of month since meeting him here. So, I mean, I don't really see, you know, how
15,
people
30.
can really, you know, break through, you know, that wall that he is. So, yeah, I definitely can see him going far. And same with Ryan Story as well.
Yeah, I mean, just speaking a little bit more about your time here, because you've had really good times at Cardiff Met, playing in previous Progress tours. You've had some good results here as well. What have you enjoyed specifically about this week? It's obviously a little bit different to what you're used to.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I really like is the format. You know, the guaranteed matches. You know, and I mean, plus the hospitality. You know, having hotels and, you know, the physios here, you know, and you guys, obviously, you know, you guys are doing a great job on comms.
Stop it.
Yeah. Alex is blushing for those that can't see. Yeah, I mean, I've really enjoyed it. I think every player here, you know, all 8 of us have found we're playing our best tennis because we have, you know, so much support off the court. So yeah, it's just been phenomenal, to be honest. It's one of the best, you know, events I've played probably ever, you know, in terms of the media coverage we've had, you know, the physios, you know, just the support, you know, from everyone, including Barry and Andy, you know, really just helped us all. So
yeah. So for people watching,
40,
you've free accommodation thanks to Hotel Planner and that partnership with the Progress Tour.
And it's been a nice hotel. I mean, I was in Portugal last week playing a UTR with free hospitality.
Okay.
And yeah, we just had a little, you know, kind of apartment between 3 of us. You know, it was quite tight, you know, and you kind of, you know, bog standard kind of thing. But the hotel room that we've had's been beautiful. I mean, staying at a nice Mercure.
Mercure in Cardiff, is it?
Mercure Cardiff, yeah. I know the address because of getting Deliveroo's. Yeah, Circle Way. That's the one.
There you go. Some late night Deliveroo's.
Yeah.
Coming in. But yeah, it's interesting because I'm just sort of thinking about this sort of style in terms of the sort of ranking that you guys are at. It's so important for you to have weeks where you're earning some money to then allow you to go and play on the tour, you know, the ITFs and the challenges and things like that. If you're able to get into some, how do you think we can continue to use sort of exhibition style, because that's effectively what this is? You're not gaining any points, but do you think we can use these effectively to give you guys help to then go on to the tour?
100%. I mean, there's so many players here that, you know, are self-funded or, you know, have very little funding or sponsorships, but are playing, you know, I mean, Ewan's, what, 600 around that mark? You know, Finn at the moment is around 800-900. You know, you have top 1,000 players here, and you could, you know, you use it as, you know, a stepping stone to be able to afford to go to futures and, you know, get those rankings up. So I mean, for me personally, it's such a, you know, a good event, and it's always in the calendar because it allows me, you know, to go and play other events, you know, like futures and, you know, trying to get into the challenges and to, you know, try and climb up that ATP ladder. Without these events, I don't think it's possible, to be honest, unless you have, you know, sponsorship behind you, you know, and some kind of funding. So, and the benefit is as well is you're getting paid to play. You know, ultimately you're playing matches. So that's, you know, it's not like you're getting paid to kind of do nothing or just train. You know, like kind of some of the funding. It's you're getting, you know, paid to get better at tennis. Yeah. You know, and to play top guys. You know, like I mean, Ewan and Finn must be like top 25 players in the UK. Yeah. So, you know, playing those matches is only a good thing. You know, and you go to those futures with, you know, a little, you know, lump of cash in your pocket where you can relax a little bit, going, okay, I've played this week and it, you know, I can afford it, and I've just played 2 or 3 guys, you know, from my group. You know, Michael Shaw, you know, had, you know, maybe just outside top 1,000 ATP, but he's now at uni, so great player. You know, Ryan Story was around 600. Yeah. You know, great player, can play unbelievable stuff, and you know, Ewan Lumsden. So that's 3 matches where that's main draw futures. You know, so there's what's not to like about that, as well as getting paid, you know, on top of that.
Charlie Swain thinking he might have locked up this game with an ace down the line. Oh. Wasn't able to do so on the first occasion. Then followed it up with that stunner there. He leads 2-1 in this first set so far. And great to hear the experience that you've had in this tournament so far. But also one of the things that sets this Novellus Easter Bowl apart is its inclusion of the Dingles that we saw yesterday. Yeah. It looked like all of you were having a huge amount of fun there. Yeah. Just take us into the mayhem that was unfolding, and whether you think that this is something that can keep on growing and become more a part of tennis tournaments in the future.
Oh yeah, I definitely think so. I think for viewers as well, it's something that, it's, the people I spoke to that watched it absolutely loved it, and it's organised chaos really. And I mean, especially with the prizes, the extra 500 of hotel vouchers, it gives you something to play for and makes, it competitive, and everyone actually really does want to win.
Yeah, that was so obvious that there was a lot of on the line there technically. That pays for a couple of nights, 3 nights somewhere, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, if you use it for tennis, I mean, I had my on using it for for a couple of days away or that kind of thing. But
yeah, I love that. Get a little spa break.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But I think there's definitely a market in there for it. I mean, all of us as players, we loved it, and it was, we were all talking about it in the lead up, as to, we were really excited to play each other in Dingles, because there's no stress of, the kind of egos of, okay, I want to beat you in a singles match and, progress in the tournament, and plus it being, we were finished in about 45 minutes to an hour, it's very short, but there's a lot going on in that hour. I think there's a great opportunity there, and you definitely can get people watching that. I mean, everyone that I spoke to absolutely loved it, and had a lot of fun watching. So, and I loved playing it. I thought it was so much fun, and plus I love the heckling rule as well. I think, allowed to heckle and give each other, a little bit of stick, I think is a great thing.
There was some unbelievable. Sorry, Will. I was going to say there was some unbelievable shots of you getting the chest pump out with your partner and stuff like that.
Finn and I saw it this morning, and we were laughing because, we're flying into each other, and you're pulling double chin faces as you're trying to, not go over the top of each other. But yeah, some great photos. I love it. Yeah.
And any heckles that particularly stood out for you, or maybe that you were able to deliver yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I think I got a little bit under Michael's skin when we were going in that backhand cross, and I was kind of just teasing him, saying, "Mate, I'm not going to miss today." And I think Story and I in the final, we laughed at, because we'd only missed once in that cross, and Finn and Alexis were going head to head, trying to absolutely obliterate the ball, and we're just being rock solid, and that's where the point started. But yeah, so I mean, it was mostly just kind of me going at people, letting them know that I'm not going to miss in that cross, so they've got to do something, which it was just fun, and Story at the side, in my first match was kind of trying to make me a little bit shaky, which is that's what we love in those events.
I was a big fan.
See
Cantor get a nice winner there. I was a big fan of the nickname element to it. I was having a chat to Alex earlier on about what his nickname would be. He was only able to come up with Big Owl or the Hymenator, neither of which I think are the best. Do you have any suggestions for Alex for how he can progress his Dingles career?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough one.
It's difficult.
I mean, he's a good partner.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll play with Alex anytime for Dingles.
Yeah,
we can enter somewhere. But on the terms that we have a good name. I mean, I can't think of anything on the top of my head, but
we'll get a good contract together.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we'll go 50-50 split.
I think you probably should take 70% of the prize money, given the work that you will be doing.
I mean, I'll take that only if I can go on that backhand cross, because, I mean, I won't miss. But, yeah, we just need to think of a good nickname for you, mate.
Well, do send them into the chat if you know Alex and you've got some suggestions for him, or even if you don't know him but you've built up a bit of a picture of him through the week so far. You can submit your suggestions on the live chat.
Yeah,
on
get
the
them
live
in.
stream.
We might not have David for too much longer up here because he needs to go and recover, but maybe a few more minutes if that's all right.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, right. I'm enjoying it.
Right,
what's next for you, David, after this tournament?
So I leave to go to Loughborough. So there's a UTR in Loughborough, starting on Monday.
Progress Tour as well, is that partnership?
Yeah, Progress Tour with UTR. So yeah, just doing 2 weeks with Barry. Enjoy it. He's probably getting sick of the sight of me now, but so the idea for my last three, so last week was a UTR, this week and the next one setting myself up to go, play a few futures. So my schedule's been, wow, I've just seen an absolute rocket from Charlie Swain.
He loves that one, doesn't he?
Yeah. So Progress Tour UTR next week, and then followed by the futures in Nottingham, the 25Ks, well I think the 30Ks now, and then use that money to go away probably to a Sharm el Sheikh or Monastir and have a look at where's weaker and try and camp out and get some points, as you've got to, futures tennis.
How does I think people find it interesting because sometimes it's quite hard as a fan to find like how much money players are earning. Like, I know we're speaking about that quite a lot, but specifically next week, for example, do you only earn if you win at the UTR?
No,
what's the sort of
we have a $500 appearance fee.
Okay.
So I mean, if you go the week, so it's 6 matches guaranteed. So it's a box format, 4 groups of 5, and yeah, if you lose every match, you go home with $500. But
Guaranteed.
then it's done on, so you will play for your place. So say if you come first in your group, you play the semi-finals. If you become second in your group, you play that bracket to play off for each place in the table. And so each place in the table is, got a certain amount of money linked with that.
Okay.
So each match has money on it, towards the bottom it's, you're talking like maybe $100 per match. At the top, then you're talking, I think it's 3.6 thousand for the winner, and then 2,000 for the finalists. So it's a big jump in prize money, where you feel that pressure. I've been in the final of one of the UTRs in Norwich, playing with Barry there, and lost to Louis Bowden in the final, and those pressures where you go, okay, there's actually £1.6 thousand on the line for this match. And you get that tension that you'd feel at those later rounds of futures or going to challenges. So,
what do you find more of a pressure, playing for points or playing for money?
I think points. I think that we can earn money playing through these events, progress tours, UTRs, but I think to be playing well at futures and getting the chance at points is ultimately what we're trying to build and go for. And so when you're playing for points, it's a nervy feeling. I mean, no matter how much you try and train for it, there's just no replacement as actually being in those situations. Nice underarm serve from Charlie. That's unlucky.
I've missed that.
Yeah, underarm serve from Charlie and a net cord winner from Alexis. It's nice.
Trying a few different things out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting to hear. Well,
presumably the prize money for commentators is similar at these events.
Yeah,
we're talking $100 a match, are we, for commentary?
I mean, it should be.
We should do predictions at the start, and only if you get a right prediction, you get the money.
Yeah. No, I mean, you guys are doing a great job. I mean, everything that I've been, watching and listening to has been really good. So I've enjoyed it a lot, and I've been watching my matches back with the commentary on, and I'm really enjoying it. It gives a different, feeling as as a player, and also being on court. The way that I'm playing, I'm like, oh, sometimes I'm thinking, change events. What are they saying? Maybe what are they thinking?
Yeah.
Maybe I can kind of try and change something to see if they maybe they'll pick up on it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's interesting because Chris Eubanks, obviously a top player, been as Wimbledon quarter finalist, been top 100. I think he's just outside top 100. He's probably working his way back up. American player. He has started in the last few years to do more broadcasting, more sort of analyst roles, but he's still playing alongside it. And I remember he was saying on a podcast that through doing that, he actually thinks it's improved his game because he sees the game a little bit differently now. I remember he said he was commentating on Sinner and he just was realizing how Sinner just didn't miss wide. He would only miss long for a period. And he said, well, why don't I try that? So the next few matches, I'm just going to say to myself, don't miss wide. And actually he was playing a lot. You probably wouldn't recommend that all the time, but for him it really helped him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting the way you say, actually, thinking about what I would say if I was commentating on myself.
Yeah, it's so I mean, an example of that is one of my friends managed to train for I think it was a week with Djokovic, and he asked Novak. He said, what do you think about when you're in those tight moments, or say it's not going your way? And apparently Novak responded with he imagines that he's watching himself. And he sees himself from a third person, or he's watching himself, courtside, and and that's kind of the feeling that I've had where, you know, I've kind of been thinking, okay, like in a different way, like, okay, what are they seeing, you know, that, you know, and then I've watched it back with the commentary. I've been thinking, okay, yeah, they've seen something that I've missed. You know, that as a player, you know, there's so many things that you're focusing on, you know, ultimately trying to hit the best ball that you might not see. Okay, you know, someone's chipping in this area to then close the net and come in. Or, you know, my first match, I watched it back with one of the guys here that analysed it, and there's so many times that, you know, I'd get someone in a defensive position and have time to come and close the ball down that I wasn't taking. So that was, again, today one of the reasons that I was trying to close the net a lot more, because I watched it back with him, and he had done a great job, you know, kind of going, oh, you've got time to get in here, you know, and seeing things from that, you know, that third person is huge.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting. And just as we sort of turn our attention back to this one, Charlie's taken a few swings on the last few forehands. He's got that ability to make them as well as, you know, he doesn't always miss those ones. Do you think sometimes he goes a little bit too big on it?
It would seem that maybe he is, given Alexis Cantor looks fairly well set to hold, and in fact he has, having broken Swain in his last service game. So Swain now finding himself 4-2 down and not particularly satisfied with that.
You haven't played this Charlie this week?
No, Charlie's the only person out of out of the players that I haven't played. It's funny because we went through it yesterday, Charlie and I. We said, oh, we've never played.
Yeah.
And yeah, out of the 7 other players that I could play, I've never played Charlie. I've played everyone else multiple times, I think.
I mean, considering he's one of the youngest player, he's probably got one of the biggest forehands.
Yeah,
in the draw.
He's got, you know, so much firepower, so much. He's got a lot of talent. I really agree with the decision he's made to go to college.
Okay.
Because I mean, as you can see, like that forehand just there on show is. Did he miss it?
He just missed it.
He just. Oh, it's the Dirty Love. Oh no, the score's wrong. Sorry.
No,
yeah,
blame the umpire for that.
But again, it's just that's so much raw power, and it's so impressive to watch. You know, and you don't see many kind of, especially juniors, with that amount of power behind the ball. You know, and he's just got such a fast arm as well. You know, that kind of disconnect on his forehand is so impressive. And you know, it sounds crazy, even though he's 18 and just come out of juniors. I love watching him play. Like there's something about him that, you know, he's just got, you know, an excitement to him. You know,
serves like that. Oh,
I mean,
he disagrees.
Oh no.
He's appealing to Cantor to tell the umpire that was in.
Cantor's not giving on that.
Yeah.
Charlie, you know, it's always.
And
just
hearing the umpire now.
I understand you, but you know, when I see from my corner, so.
Yeah, that's tough. It did.
I call what is out. Maybe you have right, so. Second service.
But I mean, it's probably quite good. Good practice for Charlie getting ready for college, because college you're going to have some bad calls, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, college is notorious for that. Oh wow, he's gone second serve underarm ace. Gives it the fist bump.
I love that. I absolutely love that. That's quality. Why not, actually?
Now Cantor's turn to speak to the umpire.
So much back and forth. We love it. That was one of the best underarm serves I've seen.
That was phenomenal. I mean, why not?
He had the practice from Dingles yesterday with those feet.
Yeah.
He's gone short off it.
See,
Such a fan.
That's the thing, like Dingles is so good to develop skills like that.
Yeah,
you know, and he's just seeing it in play there.
He's committed to South Carolina. If I'm
From what I've spoken to him, he's locked in. He's going in August, I think he said.
I mean, that's somewhere where James Story's just finished there. He's gone on to do really well.
Toby Samuel and Connor Thompson are the Brits there. And I think they've progressed a lot in the time of being there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I really think it's a great choice for him. And I think, especially with his game, he's just got so much kind of, like, raw talent that I think he's going to be such a great asset there. And, you know, there's a few times where you can see he's a young lad, you know. But, I mean, I would never have the nerves to go and do an underarm second serve ace, you know. And these are the things that I'm, you know, it's exciting to watch him, and you know I can't wait to see how he goes in college. I'm going to be keeping an eye on him.
Yeah.
Because we did train together in Bath for a little while, and you kind of watch these young lads and you go, oh, you kind of get a little big brother kind of feel to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think great decision from him, and he's going to be great there.
Just listen in for a moment here.
Now, you guys, if you agree, and but if you agree both, the ball was. No, I never did it, really. I never. Yeah, I just.
So, no doubt, still conversation going on between the two players and the umpire following that contentious call on the ace that was then followed up by a second serve underarm ace. Cantor staying on his bench a little longer than Swain, who's eager to get back to it. Speaking of a man who's eager to get back to it, we will shortly be heading down for Coach's Eye with Alex Slabinski, who will be courtside giving us another in-depth explanation on how these players are getting on. Before we hand down there, just time to say thank you very much for joining us up here.
Yeah,
David.
no worries.
And,
thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it a lot this week. I mean, this is my last day. I'm going to head off now because my tournament's finished. So, yeah, thank you very much for everything that you guys are doing. You're making the commentary and the matches really enjoyable to watch, and your insight's been amazing. So, yeah, thank you very much for having me on. Yeah, it's been fun.
Thanks, David. Yeah, it's
Cheers, David.
great to have you back in Cardiff. We'll
we'll
see you again in your second home in about 2 weeks.
I'll see you the next tournament.
That'll be good. Thanks, Dave.
Cheers, David. And we are now going courtside to Alex Slabinski with Coach's Eye.
Okay, guys, so we have a real contrast of game styles here. We've got Swain, the big hitter, generating a lot of power on his shots. So if power generation is something you want to add to your own game, it's important that you use the levers available to you. Make sure that you get your swing far back. You want to get your body turn as wide as possible. You want to have space between yourself and the ball. Let's see how he does it.
Was long.
We'll wait for the point to start so we can see him generating that power. Of course, it helps being a slightly taller player, those big levers coming into effect.
Out.
And just overhitting there a little bit. We didn't
30
get
love.
a forehand there, which I was trying to see. But on the backhand, again, the same thing applies. You want to get your racket far back, really turn your shoulders. You want to have space between the ball, and you want to make sure that your body weight is going through contact and a big finish at the end. You want to avoid using small segments and getting yourself too tight. So make sure you relax, because a relaxed arm is a fast arm. It's going to help you generate more power. Now, when you're handling power, which Alexis Cantor is having to do in this match, you have to be a little bit more compact. You don't want to have big swings because the ball is coming fast at you. You want to be able to handle that pace by using the slightly smaller segments. You want to get the turn involved. You don't want to get the arm too far back because it's going to be very difficult for you to time that ball. Think of it as like a catch. So if you were to put the racket out and catch the ball on the racket, that's what you're looking for. You don't want to have to give too much power to that shot. Catch the ball in front and then try and redirect that power. It's important that you're there with your legs. Make sure that you're working really hard to be in position so that you're not stretching for the ball. Then you can use the body turn in order to absorb that power. Don't hold the racket too tight. Here you can see Alexis really having to move around on the stretch, trying to get in position. Don't hold the racket too tight, because by holding it too tight, it's going to be very difficult for you to absorb that power. Be quite loose with the arm, but use the body turn in order to get the ball back. So let's see the players in action and make sure that you follow us for more tips to come in the next Coach's Eye. Back to the studio.
Thank you very much.
Well, in that time we have seen more tight action between these two on court. The power that Charlie Swain has and the innovation in his game, I thought was going to be the difference between these two players. But at the moment it's Alexis Cantor that's holding the advantage in this opening set.
I loved the way Alexis Cantor came behind Alex there on the coach's eye and gives a little wave to the camera. Seems to be in good spirits. Up a break, so every reason to be in good spirits. But yeah, it's interesting to hear those insights into the power that Charlie Swain can generate off both sides, but especially the forehand. If you've got any questions on that or want to hear again from Alex, he'll be back up in commentary, so do get your questions in. We'll be answering them throughout the rest of today. This, of course, the last match on show court.
Don't forget, as well as getting those questions in, we also have a poll in the chat. I think we've had 4 of you vote so far in that one, and we have Charlie Swain edging Alexis Cantor in the vote about who will progress to the semi-finals. Currently 67-33 in favour of Charlie Swain, and we will see whether you, the viewers, are proven right on that one.
30-15.
Beautiful touch from Charlie Swain. Really nice. He's just got so much variety.
You were talking with David about Charlie selecting to go to college in North Carolina rather than staying... South Carolina, sorry. 50-50. And I got it wrong. Going to South Carolina to play tennis at college. What do you think can be done in the UK for us to be able to offer the same sort of training, the same sort of opportunities at our universities? Obviously, Met, Loughborough, Stirling, Nottingham, Bath, they're all brilliant places. But that we are still seeing players travel over to the US.
Yeah, I think it's always about finding the right fit for you, and everyone is different, every player is different. As Cantor comes in, oh my goodness, what a shot.
Down the line from Charlie Swain. Beautiful.
Beautiful. It's wonderful from Swain. Well, I am going back and forth, so I kind of do, but yeah.
This break, as the new balls come out, rather less animated between the players and the umpire than the last one.
But yeah, just Chet's, as I was saying, I think it just, in terms of the university decision where you end up going, there are so many players that are now ending up going down the British university route. And we've seen a lot of players go on from that, head on to the tour and be really successful. A couple of names that come to mind. Lloyd Glassball spent a couple of years finishing up some studies at Loughborough University. He's now partnered up with Julian Cash on the ATP Tour as a new doubles partnership, and they're seeded now at Grand Slams, are in the top 20 in the world. They just made the final of the ATP Masters in Miami. It's incredible. On the women's side, we've got a few players that have gone on also to the WTA Tour. Liv Nichols, of course, went through Loughborough University and is now playing some top doubles on the WTA Tour. Currently, she's just been selected for the Billie Jean King Cup team that have just about to compete in a tie. So yeah, it's equally as good going to a British university if it's the right fit for you, but also some players will fit the structure of the NCAA system in America.
And as Cantor
15-all.
serves for the set, levelling things up in this game 15-all. I wondered, what was it about Cardiff Met, about this venue, this university, this campus, that made you pick it all those years ago?
Yeah. I think it was, for me, what stood out was this beautiful tennis centre. I mean, Wales, actually, we're seeing some unusually nice weather at the moment, but usually there's a few clouds in the sky, so you want to be indoors playing. But when you've got a tennis centre like this, 4 magnificent hard courts, acrylic courts, so much court time that you're able to get, but also the coaching setup. It continues to progress. They're not afraid to develop what's there. They're always trying to improve the program. We've now got a dedicated head coach in Callum Finley, who leads the university setup as well as the junior tennis Wales setup. He's doing a great job in improving the tennis players we have on offer at the moment at Cardiff Met. And he's also got help from coaches with junior setups and lower level university players. Basically, there's something for everyone, and that's what appealed to me, was that there's so much to get involved in, whether you're a player, whether you want to get involved with event management, whether you want to get involved with broadcasting, media, analysis. There are so many courses that you can do at Cardiff Met University that can go alongside your playing career. Such a nice volley, so clean, so compact from Cantor. As our attention shifts back to this match as Cantor brings up set point for himself.
A huge call from the far court, momentarily distracting our players on the show one.
Yeah, it's from Finn Bass. They're locked in a really tight match over on court 4. Finn Bass against Marshall Tutu. Marshall Tutu seriously playing some good stuff.
Cantor into second serve here.
There it is.
Swain finds the net. The error, meaning that Cantor wins this 10th game and does take the first set as a result, 6-4. And so while Swain is currently leading 62% to 38% on your win predictor on the poll, it is Cantor holding the upper hand with a 1-set advantage. So if Swain is to fulfill your expectations, he's going to have to do it from a position of being a set down. Do you think that Swain has got the chance to come back in this one, or do you think the experience that Alexis Cantor has is actually going to prove to be the deciding factor?
Yeah, I think experience is so useful in this sport. You've got to experience certain situations to be able to then improve on them, and just from a mental aspect as well. Cantor will have played younger opponents in the past and learned how to deal with that pressure of playing players that are still fresh in their career. And I think he's dealing with that so well at the moment. So I think experience in this one will probably be the deciding factor, but by no means does that mean Swain won't have a chance to fight back in this one.
Time.
He's got the firepower to hurt Alexis in all areas of the court. We know how big he hits that forehand. But if I was to put money on it, yeah, I'd say Cantor will finish this one up in 2 sets, but I'm sure Swain will want to prove me wrong in that.
Very long matches on this show court yesterday. The first one today was a straight sets victory, 6-2, 6-2 for Ewan Lumsden over David Quail, who just joined us up here in the commentary box and gave us his insight into the tournament, into the Dingles and life as a tennis pro. Great to hear from him. Can Cantor repeat the feat of Ewan Lumsden and close this one out in straight sets? He took the first one 6-4.
Love.
Interesting, this that Swain seems to prefer to leave the spare balls at the net rather than behind him. For me, that feels like it would be off-putting. I'd be aware it was on the court. I'd be aware it's something I really don't want to risk stepping on if I'm rushing to the net. What about you? Do you think that would put you off?
Yeah, I was always told to move those balls because you never know when you're going to get into the net, and it's just something that's going to distract you. So even if it is super close, I always said to myself, I'm just going to move them out the way. Obviously, we don't have the luxury of ball kids at this event. And to be honest, a lot of the events that these guys are playing, they don't. So they've got to make that decision for themselves. But yeah, it's interesting that Swain doesn't move those ones. Potentially, he's not been coming that much to the net, so he probably doesn't get too bothered by it.
We see him, after a lot of his errors, looking over to his left-hand side. As though he's speaking to a coach. Maybe that's sort of the element that you were talking about with players who've done some broadcasting, or when David was saying about Djokovic, when he's struggling, thinking about how he would feel as he was watching himself. Almost as though Charlie Swain is having that conversation with an imaginary coach and thinking about what that coach would be saying to him.
I think it's a nice way of reflecting, yeah. It's always sort of taught that, just let this point finish. Oh, the drop shot's working so nicely. It's so good. Such good vision there to spot Cantor far back. It reminds me a little bit of Alcaraz, you know. Because Swain has such a big forehand, Cantor's actually retreated his recovery position. So then it just allows for a bit more space in the forecourt for Swain to hit into. And then the drop shot actually doesn't have to be as good because he's got so much more space. Cantor's so far back and he was nowhere near getting to that one.
Yeah, I love the inventiveness that Charlie Swain is bringing to this match as he takes out the first game in this one. Do let us know what you like in Charlie Swain's game and in the game of Alexis Cantor as well. Let's know who you're supporting too. Chat with us on the live chat on YouTube. And see that more people are interacting with the poll, which has now edged to 50-50 between these two players. As many votes for Charlie Swain as we've had for Alexis Cantor.
50 love.
So that's shifted from an early win. An early lead, sorry, I should say, for Charlie Swain.
Yeah, just what I was mentioning before on sort of player reflection and in between points. Obviously, there's a maximum of 25 seconds that you've got before you get pulled up for a time violation. And that 25 seconds goes quickly. You've got to be disappointed about losing a point if that's the way it went. You've got to then reset, and then you've got to then think about the next point. So you've almost got about 8 seconds there to do one thing, 8 seconds to do another, and then reset for the next point. So it's not long, but that's why these players have to almost have a bad memory because then they can forget about the previous point.
And Charlie Swain giving himself a slap there, unable to return Cantor's serve. It's quite a bit of frustration, but I suppose in terms of your 8 seconds for each element of your reflection, a quick slap to the face, while I wouldn't encourage it, it's quite a quick way of getting through that part of your in-between points process.
Yeah, if it means getting the frustration out, just do it. If it means it's a quick turnaround, fine.
Cantor closes out his opening game of this second set with a score to love, 1-1 in the second set.
Love.
The power serve from Charlie Swain. Cantor tries to get over to dig it out. Ricochets high off the racket, scraping the ceiling supports here as it ends up well out. 30 love to Charlie Swain. That was a rocket from Charlie Swain. A couple of backhand exchanges between the two players. Swain switches to the forehand side and sends a missile down the line past Cantor.
There was absolutely no chance Cantor was going to get to that. I think he was as shocked as we were with the amount of pace that Swain hit. That is all fast muscle fibers. I mean, the speed that his arm was flung at the ball then was ridiculous.
I mean, I feel obviously Cantor is a phenomenal player. Even if he'd been in position, that would have been a very difficult shot to return, the amount of pace that Swain got behind it. And it was such a change-up from the preceding couple of shots.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the sorts of things that you can hurt opponents with, it's spin, it's pace, it's change of rhythm, it's accuracy. But that one was all pace. I mean, that was ridiculous. Actually, to be fair, it had accuracy as well, which made it even more impressive from Swain. But he's hanging in. He's looking really good in this second set. He's just looking a little bit tired out there, but he's managing that really well. And maybe that's part of that plan, is to keep these points short and use that powerful forehand of his. And if that means, yes, he misses a few long and misses a few in the net, maybe he's willing to take that risk to keep these points short, and he might feel that that's the only way he's going to continue to win points out here. But it's clever, I think.
Time.
Swain favouring the electrolyte gel there on the bench, where Cantor has got his lunchbox with a couple of bananas in it. What did you tend to go for yourself, Alex? Are you a banana man or a gel man?
You know what? It's a funny one because I hate bananas. I can't stand them. Yet I would always go for them in mid-match because I was always told that they were good, and they made me refuel in between points. So as much as I hate them, that was the only time I would have them. But always underripe, if that makes sense. Any brown on the banana, no thanks.
We would, of course, remind any kids watching this stream that banana does make up an important part of a healthy, balanced diet, especially for an athlete. And even riper bananas turned into banana bread for a sweet treat every now and then. You don't just have to eat them underripe, as Alex Hyman prefers. Cantor, he's really outfoxed Swain there, sending him scampering to Cantor's right and then redirecting the shot back behind him.
Yeah, just had the pick of the shots there, to be honest. Had a really nice middle court position, so had the ability to choose either way, and just sent Charlie Swain running the wrong way. So yeah, and just held it a little bit longer, which was quite nice. Saw Swain running one way and then sent his forehand the other.
Oh, Cantor.
30-15.
He enjoyed that. That was an excellent winner. Advancing to the net as Swain did the same, and then powering a punch shot past his opponent. So you'll allow a banana mid-match, but you wouldn't have one off court. What was your go-to meal when you've had a good tournament? You've tasted success. What helps that taste of success really be elevated with your post-match meal?
Well, arguably, if I was tasting success, that's all I'll ever need. So forget about meals. I'll run off success. That's fine. But that didn't happen often, so...
Do join us for more cliches through the day from Alex Hyman. That's
oh, wow. Just unbelievably struck forehand. Unbelievably good. Luckily took us away from the cliches.
Ties this game up. As a less serious answer, now that you can allow yourself a cheat meal or two.
Yeah. On a more serious note, I'd honestly, if I've won the tournament, and I don't know if this would be the same for the players, but I feel like then why would I impact myself more? If I've just won a tournament, I'm going to continue my diet because things are working. Like, why would I change that up? I don't need a cheat meal to make me feel better because I already feel great. So I'm just going to continue on the diet I had. If I had lost, however, might be a different story and I might be a bit down in the dumps. So yeah, that's my personal opinion.
And that's probably what sets the two of us apart, Alex, why you made it to the top of your sport and I barely made it off the bottom. As Swain finds the net once more. Again, chat with the Phantom coach. As he heads back to receive Cantor's next serve. He'll be looking to level up the set here. And
There it is again.
Oh,
there it is
yes.
again. It's the same spot. It's worked
Yes.
time and time again, and that is the shot that is keeping him in great position in this second set.
Ties things up at deuce. And speaking of deuce, although a different spelling, we've had a question on the chat, Alex, for you. What are your thoughts on sports drinks or isotonic drinks? I won't mention any brand names for young or emerging tennis players. Do you think that they're a positive thing for young players to use, or do you think maybe it could lead to an over-reliance?
No, I think, yeah, just as Kanter puts away a nice volley to give him a chance of holding here, it would be an important hold. But yeah, I think they're really important, because often I found when I was playing, and having spoken to a lot of the players this week, it's really important to top up those fuels, and water sometimes you need a bit more. You need a bit more fuel than that, and just some more specific liquids such as Lucozade, just isotonic, just need a bit more sugar to refuel. So I know when I was playing, I used a lot of SIS, and they have no partnership with the tournament, so that's just one that I know players rely on a lot. There's no sponsor from them at all, but
other brands are available.
yeah, but that one I know is really good to use. It's just important to check when you are playing at this level that all the stuff going into a product is safe, it's legal, because these players, when they're playing on the ITF circuit, would get drug tested and things like that. So it's important to be cautious and check the right packaging and things like that. But
well, I suppose in a way that's where actually paying attention to sponsorship is quite a useful thing. If a isotonic drink sponsors a tournament, then that'll be because it is something that you are permitted to go for.
I know Ewan Lumsden was getting in a protein shake after his match, so I think just using that as an example, players clearly need a bit of something extra, because there's so much movement on court. It's such a physical sport.
Out.
Oof, great pass from Charlie Swain. Yeah, agony
59.
for Kanter, but that was a really tough volley. Made to work really hard on that one. It was low, it was coming in flat.
Great shots from our camera operators, showing the emotion of Kanter in that moment. Both players still searching for the first break of this set. As it was Kanter that got that single break over Swain in the first set. That was enough to get it done there, having served first.
Just briefly coming back to that topic, just having thought about it some more, I think your point on reliance is a good one, because I think for as long as you can, try and just stick with the most fundamental banana water. I think when you're younger, that's all you need. And then when you start developing your body, when you start growing some more muscle, that's when you can start to implement the extra stuff, the isotonics, the protein shakes. I think that's important.
Swain just being slightly outfoxed by the Progress Tour hoarding there. The ball had gone inside it. He couldn't quite get it out. But he is now back to the baseline, ready to serve again at 30 all. Looking to move to 3-2 in the set. Oh.
Football skills.
Football skills as well. This man has the works. He's got the full set. Oh, to be talented.
Speaking of football skills, there's a couple of players this week that claim to have played academy football. And I say claim, I'm sure they're not telling lies about that, but one of them, who I'll mention in a second, see if the chat can guess who it is who has the football skills, but one of them was questioning whether the other one had done it because they claimed to both play at the same academy.
Interesting.
And,
Interesting. Should we give a clue to the viewers as to what the academy was? I think it was Ipswich Town, wasn't it?
40, 30.
Correct.
Okay, so Ipswich Town is the academy. 2 players here this week claim to have played for the academy. They may both have played for it, but there is some debate between the players as to whether they both did. Send us through on the chat who you think were those 2 players. Thank you, Link115, for your engagement with the chat. Glad we were able to answer your question. Boom. What a winner from Charlie Swain that was.
Loves it.
When it's 3 games to 2.
Good to see him a bit fired up now.
I'm loving the animation from Swain. Cantor was very animated yesterday, perhaps more so than Bass in their match. Now it's the other way around. It's Swain who's the more animated of the 2, but great to see these players' characters shining through on court. It really brings the viewer into the action to be able to see how the players are feeling, and sometimes even hearing what they're saying to one another, to the umpire, to their coaches.
It sure does. And that's what we want to see in the final match of the day on show court here at Cardiff Met Tennis Centre.
Canolfin tennis.
Yeah. We showed it a little earlier, but there's a lovely little banner at the back of court 4 showing that Cardiff Met Tennis were the national runner-up in the University of the Year competition, and that was a tennis award, so just shows how impressive this university is in terms of tennis and what it has to offer. And that's an award not only for performance tennis but for other activities, whether that's getting involved in events like this. Students are involved in this event, whether that's media, whether that's rehab, sport and exercise science. There's so much to offer. So yeah, credit to all the work they're doing behind the scenes.
Well, and on that point, obviously, given the event, most of our focus, as Swain goes too long there on the lob, most of our focus this week has been on performance tennis, on the Progress Tour and here at Kincoid campus. But there's also, as you say, that kind of awareness of the community game, and tennis is such a good sport for lifelong participation, where other sports maybe are a higher impact and require a team to be able to get involved with. Tennis is a great one for people who are looking to get physically active, stay physically active throughout their life, and also to meet friends, become part of a community.
For sure, it's a really good sport for that. Not only is it a sport for performance, it's a sport for making new friendships and community tennis. That's something that the Progress Tour also does, because you know there are so many events going on throughout the year in Wales, in England, even abroad. They've had events in Tenerife, which are more performance, but they've had community events back in Brighton, where tournament director, Progress Tour founder is from. And yeah, it's doing lots of things. They've got exciting new events coming up in the summer, so stay tuned for that on the social media at the Progress Tour on Instagram. But yeah, you're right. It's so good, and also even at this level, they're able to balance having friendships with each other, but also being competitors on the court.
Yeah, I've loved seeing those interactions, friendly interactions between the players. Mentioned it at the end of the Lumsden Quail match earlier on today, the chat that they were having been fiercely competing on the court, but immediately able to have a good chat off it. It's what we like to see. How quickly after a match, Alex, did you find that you were able to have a chat and maybe a little bit of a joke with your opponent, even dare I mention it, matches where they have beaten you?
I was always, I think this was probably the problem, but I was always happy to chat to them. Yeah, just have a bit of a debrief. I often quite like that. It's almost like a little bit of a press conference with each other, but you chat about the match and say, look, it's all done and dusted now. Let's have a chat about it and see what we can do to improve. Or I would often say what they did well and what I found tough. So I often think that's quite good, and it's good for juniors to get into a rhythm of that, because it also just takes away from the fact of how, you know, I think it's good if there isn't too much put on matches when you're young, because there shouldn't be too much pressure. Yeah, at that stage of your development, it should just be about improving. And I think a perfect way to do that is to chat to your opponent after and just be a bit friendly about it. Yeah, I think sometimes juniors can get a bit stuck in absolutely hating your opponent and wanting the worst for them, where it's just, you know, they're just doing the same thing you're doing, and it's come hopefully from a love for the sport.
For me, the iconic example of friendship despite Swain. What was that? It nearly worked out for him. Just flicking that ball back and walking away as though he was giving up the point, trying to disguise his intent. Cantor not falling for it and able to get the point in the end himself. So Swain resorts to an absolute blinder of an ace.
Yeah, bomb tee. We had some questions in yesterday asking how quick these guys are serving, and that's got to be 120 miles per hour. But it's interesting, when you do go flatter, obviously it's going to be a faster serve. When you go wide, like Swain tried to do there, it's going to be slower, because you're focusing on the spin and the side spin you're getting, and to do that you've got to take some pace off.
I was going to say, the example of friendship through tennis, despite a rivalry that I think is the most iconic one, is that of Federer and Nadal. You know, the number of battles they had over the years, then the friendship that they forged, and the fact that when it came to those final matches for Federer, when he was given his send-off, the two of them in tears, even at one point hand in hand, as they reflected on the times they'd shared across the net from each other. Really great to see.
Yeah, just quickly, that was a great point from Cantor there. Just dialed in. It's important, this game. It's 3-all, 15-all. Really, really crucial game for both players here. And as this one comes to a really important moment in this match, remember you can catch up on all the draws, results and schedules, of course, for tomorrow, semi-finals and finals day, at theprogresstour.com. They'll be updated throughout the day. That will hurt, because I know he'd be telling himself there, just don't miss, make Swain hit winners. So he'll be disappointed with that one, Sheps.
3-3 in this second set.
Oof, thought he was
that
go
could have been the perfect opportunity to shift this game and look to break Swain for the first time in the set. As it is, we're at 30-all.
Out. No.
Well, not now, we're not. It is break point for Cantor. Error from Swain. This is a crucial serve coming up for Charlie Swain to get right. Again, content to leave the spare ball by the net.
Out.
Oh, misses it wide.
Game Cantor.
And Cantor does manage the break. The error from Charlie Swain, trying to go down the line. And a 4-3 lead to Cantor, who will serve for a 2-game advantage.
That could be really crucial, that break. I could tell that Cantor just, at the beginning of that game, told himself, I just don't want to miss in this game. I want to make Swain make the errors or hit winners. If he does do that and hit winners, fine, too good, I've done my job. And in the end, it ended up being good enough from Cantor. So he'll be looking to just hold serve now and finish this one off. But yeah, impressive.
Yeah, he's done a really good job to bounce back from losing that match, the last singles match on this show court yesterday to Finn Bass, then having to get through the Dingles, which he was in that winning team. So that will no doubt have perked him up a little bit at the end of the day.
Time.
Coming out here against the young man, Charlie Swain, full of trick plays. Cantor is doing what he needs to do here, by the book.
I just can't believe that match on court 4 is still going between Marshall Tutu and Finn Bass. It's been locked in a third set for a while now. Yeah, you can go and check that score on court 4 or on the Progress Tour website. I can tell you that Tutu is 5-3 up in that third set. So that is a shock result pending on court 4 as Finn Bass, the #1 seed, the highest rated player in the tournament, potentially could be going down.
Swain has done so well to get to that, but it just goes long.
15 love.
An understandable yelp from the 18-year-old. Cantor, 15 love up, 4-3 in the set.
Out.
Just misfiring on that forehand, isn't he? He's had moments of that forehand just finding his mark, finding the mark, but I think it's just been too many occasions in this match when it's just gone a little bit too big, and like he said, he's just tapping his head there. Maybe just not quite right. Been a long morning. Not quite finding the right time to hit that big shot.
Well, as Alex finds the right word, Alexis Cantor finds the right shot, and we'll look to close out this game now. Long from Swain.
Game Cantor.
Since that break, he has made it too easy for Cantor. Swain must hold here to keep this match alive.
Sheps, I might have to leave you to it, because if this one goes the way of Cantor, got to get ready for that post-match interview to hear the thoughts of Cantor.
That's the problem of working with a multi-talented person like you, Alex Simon. Lots to be done, always busy. I believe in the back of shots, I can confirm that Marshall Tutu has closed out his match against Finn Bass, so a shock has taken place there. Well done to Tutu. As this one continues for now. 15 all. Cantor well set. Swain goes back to his mark. Let on that serve. You can really see there the power that Swain is able to generate with this serve. The way the net rippled and nearly burst. He does get this serve in. But again, Cantor sending his opponent one way and then rocketing the ball back the other. 15-30. Finn Bass strolls off the far court to reflect on that defeat. A 3-setter to Marshall Tutu. Swain again mixing up the shots. Cantor getting to it. Oh,
15-40.
holding his position up the court. Cantor has been able to block that shot from Swain. A little drop that ends up being the winner, and it brings up 2 break points. But more importantly for Cantor, it brings up 2 match points as well. Swain on the cusp of losing this one here. Swain is not going down without a fight. What a rally this is between the 2 players. Off the net. Still play continues. Cantor able to get to it. Swain as well. Still the rally goes on. Cantor content to make Swain miss, which he does.
Game, set,
Cantor wraps this one up, a straight sets victory, 6-4, 6-3, as the 2 players meet at the net and then head back to the benches. Well, we were treated to something really special on that last point. A great match between the 2 players throughout. But Cantor, the victor. He will progress to the semis and he will face Finn Bass. He may have lost his match on the far court just there, but Alexis Cantor will be his opponent once more in the semi-finals. They played in the final match of the day yesterday, where Bass won in 3 sets. For Charlie Swain, this tournament is done. The other semi-final will see Lumsden face Story. Really good match here with Cantor breaking Swain once in the first set, twice in the second. And the second, the final game of the match, which ended with that wonderful exchange of shots between the 2 players. The ball ricocheting off the net at one point, failing to unsettle either player. They both charged on after that, as the umpire just has a couple of positive words for Charlie Swain. Really nice to see that. Umpire going over for that chat. Speaking of a chat, Alexis Cantor, the victor in this one, 6-4, 6-3, is now heading to our studio to speak to Barry and to Alex. Congratulations, Alexis. Over to you, Alex and Barry.
Thanks, Will. Yeah, joined by Alexis Cantor. You're through to the semis. How does that feel?
Oh, feels great, yeah. It's coming back after a tough loss yesterday. Thought that was a really good performance.
Yeah, I mean, 6-4, 6-3 straight sets. You must be happy to get that done and dusted fairly quickly after yesterday's battle with Bass.
Yeah, I knew that after yesterday that if I wanted to give myself the best chance of getting through and winning the tournament, that today, least drama and least time as possible was going to be key.
Absolutely. I think that, you know, in the words of Kevin Keegan, the bounce back ability you showed there was fantastic after such a battle with Finn yesterday. Yeah. Getting back out there and winning the Dingles title, I think it's a real show of resilience to come out and perform like you did today. So great work.
How much of that are you proud of in terms of your resilience this week and just in terms of your personality as a player?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's something that takes a lot of practice and dedication to get better at, because before I'd struggle a lot with that. So, you know, it's maturity. It's just telling yourself, look, no one cares if you've lost. You've got to come back and give your best, you know, dingles 50 minutes later or today. So, yeah, I was really proud of it.
I think, you know, we chatted earlier about how much you are going on the offense and taking those sort of bigger risks, if you like, and you're starting to see the rewards of that. How much has that been a sort of conscious choice on your side?
Yeah, it has. Yeah, I mean, it's something I've worked on a lot, and you know, I'm not missing too much whilst I'm doing it. It's finding that balance, isn't it? I went through a patch where I was trying to be really aggressive, which was a key period, but I felt like I was maybe making a few too many mistakes, and now I'm starting to find a bit more of a balance with it, and yeah, it's coming through with some results.
Yeah, great to see.
Just a couple of insights from Alex throughout the week, and said he's been impressed by your improvements on your serve, getting more pop on it. Yeah. How much are you sort of, over your career, willing to experiment new things to improve your game? Is that something you're happy doing?
Absolutely, I am. I mean, sometimes it's difficult because you get so used to one way of doing something that making a change can feel like, oh, you know, am I doing the right thing or not? But it's just having a clarity about what change and what it's going to give you, and then you can stick with it. And, you know, on the serve, in juniors I was a platform stance, and I went to a pinpoint a bit later on in juniors, and you know, I've been tinkering a little bit with my ball toss arm, and I think Alex said on commentary maybe a bit more leg drive as well. I've been focusing on that too. So yeah, I've been tinkering and making changes, but also it's key to make sure you're solid with what you know you're doing when you're on the match court.
It's good to know you're listening back to the commentary, getting those tips.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just quickly before we let you go, just explain a bit about the difference between the platform and the serve that you now got.
Yeah, so platform is where you keep your legs apart, a bit like if you watch Federer or Djokovic, and you just keep them there, straight down, straight up. Pinpoint is what I do, where you kind of step back and you step forward with your legs together. And I found for me, it just gave me a bit more momentum and power on the serve.
There you go. I think that's really interesting for people to hear, is that you were willing to change that up. And how long did it take you to get used to that? I mean, it must have taken a few weeks because your rhythm must have been completely off for a while.
Yeah, it must have taken maybe 6 months for it to feel completely normal, but a lot shorter than that for it to feel fine. But something isn't going to feel 100% natural unless you stick with it for a decent period of time. Because I know a lot of people, they try something and then they think, oh, today it didn't feel great, I'll just go back to how it was better before. But if you have the clarity about, okay, this is giving me this, then it's easier to stick with it.
All right, final question from me. Feeling good for tomorrow? What are you going to do in the meantime?
I'm going to get in the recovery hub and...
That's been a common answer this week.
Well, I mean, today was the first day I used them, and they were great. So I need it tonight, and because I think I'll be probably playing Ewan tomorrow, and we all know how physical his game is. So I need to get prepared for that. Yeah.
Well, thanks, Alexis. Good luck, and well done for today first. Enjoy it, and then see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alexis.
Thanks.
Barry, exciting times getting ready for tomorrow. What are you looking forward to for semi-finals? They're all set.
Yes, we have our semi-final lineup. It's going to be a really good conclusion to what's been a great event. As we've discussed at length, I think there's been such a competitive, but a really healthy competitive atmosphere amongst all 8 players. So the lineup tomorrow will, as we just discussed there, Cantor versus Lumsden and Bass versus Ryan Storey. So it promises to be a really good day of action and a really strong conclusion to the Easter Bowl, the Novellus Easter Bowl.
Now, that's something that I've really enjoyed watching, is these guys' ability. They're friends off the court, but they fight so hard against each other on the court, and their ability to do that and separate the two has been really cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, again, you go back to the sort of Dingles challenge last night, the banter going on and the atmosphere, like fiercely competitive, but a lot of fun and a lot of camaraderie, if you will, amongst all the 8 players. So it's great, and it's exactly how it should be.
All right, then talk us through tomorrow. When do people need to tune into the live stream on the Top Tennis Training official account?
So tomorrow the lineup's going to be set. The first semi-final action will start at 9 a.m. with yourself starting things off at 8:40. So tune in for the lead up to the first semi-final. The first semi-final will be Ewan versus Cantor.
Well done.
Ewan Lumsden versus Alexis Cantor, and that will be at 9 o'clock. And then the second semi-final, we will see Finn Bass taking on...
It's tested here.
Finn Bass taking on... Ryan's story.
You got there in the end. There we go.
It's been
There's
a
a
long
lot.
few days.
There's a lot going on this week. So the fact that you managed to get there in the end was impressive. Well done.
So join us from 8:40 tomorrow. It's going to be a couple of semi-finals. We'll have a little bit of a breather with some features, maybe another opportunity to watch the Dingles from last night. But there'll be a whole day of action. The final, we think, will be around 2:30, depending on how the semis go. But should be a good finale.
Perfect. Well, there we go. We're all set for tomorrow. Of course, all this action from this week you can go back and watch on demand on YouTube and on Twitch at the Progress Tour, and then, of course, on the Top Tennis Training channel, thanks to Alex Slabinski. He'll be back tomorrow. We'll all be back tomorrow. So see you live from 8:40 here at the Cardiff Met Tennis Centre. See you tomorrow.
The Progress Tour presents the Novellus Easter Bowl. It's showtime.